Let's get nasty on a Tuesday. It's a Fast Line on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Jamie traveling, or at least he's in Winnipeg right now. He'll join us via the phone for a couple of segments today as we talk about the Blues. They get ready to take on the Jets, and already Jim Montgomery making some pretty massive line changes. So we'll get Jamie's viewpoint on Philip Broberg being paired with Colton Parayko. But we start the show with the Monday Night Football game last night between the Broncos and the Browns. And Carey Marsh actually was the one that brought this up, I don't know, maybe a week or two ago, discussing like the NFL not having those like sexy matchups, which I agreed with. But I find myself on a Sunday locked in, a lot of times via the Red Zone channel, and being thoroughly entertained by the product on my TV. That, I think, is the calling card right now for the NFL. Browns and Broncos, you and I said it yesterday, going off the show. This is the Monday Night Football matchup. Yeah. This sucks.
Yeah.
But if you watch that game, even if you had it on in the background at first, you were eventually pulled in. Because that wound up being a lot of fun.
All it took was like two, what seemed like 90-plus yard passes to really like, oh, wow, we have a game.
Couple of pick sixes mixed in.
Pick sixes.
Jameis threw 6 touchdowns yesterday.
He threw 6.
Two of them were to the other team.
Yeah.
But he threw 6.
He certainly did.
And buried the bodies, made it close.
We made it close. If you didn't have Cortland Sutton, that Denver defense was going to score enough to put Neighbors Dave behind the 8 ball there. But no, that was thoroughly entertaining. And I know that Troy Aikman mentioned this a couple of times on the broadcast. He's not wrong.
What, that he could outrun Jameis Winston?
Probably, yeah.
Not right now.
What if the Browns actually made a football decision instead of a money decision and just rolled with Jameis Winston to start the year?
When he was performing really poorly and stinking it up and
that's correct,
not throwing for at least 200 yards a game, yeah, they probably would be in a better place. Now, Jameis is going to turn the ball over.
Damn right he is.
You better believe it. Now, if you don't know nothing else, you better know that.
That was Jameis. That was Jameis Winston.
That's him. That is him. Whatever 497 yards worth of football and 2 pick sixes, 500 yards and 2 pick sixes, and that's him. 4 touchdowns, 2 pick sixes. Jameis Winston might be slowly becoming one of my favorite people of all time because he's just authentically himself. He's not trying to be anything other than that. It's just what he is. Like, he was like, I'm praying that I can stop throwing these pick sixes. I asked God to deliver me from throwing pick sixes. Like, he is the best. They didn't win the game, but he is definitely entertaining.
I love, too, they showed the video halfway through where he was talking to the grounds crew. You know, he went up, I think it was the Hard Knocks video, went up to the grounds crew and said, hey, I meant to throw you out a shout out. That field was the best field, the best playing conditions that we could have had, given that, like, he was genuine. He was talking. He was talking to the grounds crew from Cleveland.
He's awesome. Authentic. Like he is who he is.
Now on the other side, we have another example of if you pair the right head coach and the right system to the rookie quarterback, good things will happen, because that's what's going on with Bo Nix.
Yeah.
And there were people that liked Bo Nix coming into the draft. He played a lot of football. I don't think we should overlook that.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy was at Iowa State for 19 years before he got to the 49ers. He had immediate success, not just because he played all those years at Iowa State, but because Kyle Shanahan knows what he's doing, and he was a perfect fit for the offense. Bo Nix played 15 years in college. I think 5 at Auburn, 5 at Oregon, 5 someplace else.
He played at least 7, I think.
He played a lot of football.
Close to 7, 6 or 7.
He's a competitive kid, and he's with the right head coach in the right system. It works. You get Caleb Williams, more talented than any quarterback in this past year's draft, but he winds up with Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron, and you get that debacle that you just had in Detroit. More talented kid, more talented quarterback, more talented player. but you get a debacle because he's not coached properly and because he was fast-tracked in the NFL.
Wrong environment.
Carey, I don't think there's any sort of weird secret here.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold is another perfect example of what we're talking about. He winds up going to the Jets. It's like, hey, kid, you're here. Be the savior. He goes, okay, I will. And then he's seeing Ghost on Monday night. And he winds up in Carolina. And Carolina doesn't know knows what it's doing either.
Right.
Spends one season with Kyle Shanahan and is now with Kevin O'Connell. And the Vikings will be 10-2 by the end of the weekend.
Well, they already are.
11-2 by the end of the weekend.
Well, they definitely are going to be
because they play Kirky, Corpsey, Cousins.
Could be worse. You could be Skip Bayless and said they were 9-3 on Twitter.
Did he?
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
This quarterback thing, you have to have the talent, but if you get enough years in college with the right coaching there and you match the coach, you match the quarterback to the system, dude, we're seeing it with Bo Nix.
Well, I think it's more. I don't care how many years you play in college, as long as if you're talented enough and you're around someone that understands the game at a high level and can teach you how to be a pro quarterback, teach you the ins and outs. Are you going to have some mistakes? Sure. Bo Nix had a rough start. Mm-hmm. He wasn't, and I talked about it. Like preseason, he looked fantastic, and then when the regular season hit, it's a little bit of a difference because teams are playing true coverage. They're disguising things. It's not a vanilla look. But he has found a way to overcome all of that. And sometimes it's just not the fit because Sean Payton is a good coach. We saw it with Drew Brees. We've seen it with Bo Nix, but we didn't see it with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is having success this year.
Yeah.
When most people wrote him off. So sometimes it's not always, the coach. Sometimes it's just the mesh of those personalities and being able to be on one accord. Mm-hmm. I think Bo Nix is having success because he'll snap back at Sean Payton. He's not like Russell was. All right, cool, whatever. He's very laid back. Bo Nix, we've seen it on the sideline. He's going back at him.
Yeah.
And some coaches appreciate that. Okay. Now I know you're locked in. Let's roll. Mm-hmm. So he's having success, but it does take that marriage of a good coach, good coordinator, good quarterback to all be on one accord to have success.
And look, I know, and I'm not taking anything away from Cortland Sutton or Vitale or some of the pieces that the Broncos have, but I'll ask you guys: would you rather have DJ Moore and Rome Odunze and Cole Kmet and
Keenan
Allen, or would you rather have Denver's wide receiver core?
I'll take Keenan Allen and those guys.
It's not about the wide receiver core. Mm-hmm. It's more about the coaching, the system, the environment, to your point, CD, the defense. And Denver's defense, which has been great all year, played like crap last night. The corners for Denver, wow. The corner opposite of Patrick Surtain.
Yeah.
Who's it? Russell?
He was having some troubles.
They said that kid's, I'm shocked I forgot it already. They said that kid's name, that poor kid, because Jerry Jeudy turned him around like a top.
They said he was having a rough time.
Good for Jerry Jeudy, too. Huge game.
He was going after Denver's fan base. I got no issue with it.
Yeah.
Now, you lost the game ultimately, but...
not because of you.
Man, he put on a show.
Yeah.
200 and something yards receiving.
To your point about the rookie quarterbacks, one thing that I like about Bo Nix is that he's not afraid to just chuck the ball downfield.
No.
Like, just let it fly, dude.
Yeah.
And we saw multiple times that he connected. He can really sling the ball.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and that was kind of the knock on him, the arm strength, whether or not the arm strength was going to be there. Arm strength's fine.
Mm-hmm. He can play football. And he's in a good environment.
And Denver right now at 8-5, they're in that wild card mix in the AFC. Good for them. That division, imagine being the Raiders. You've got Antonio Pierce and the mess of a roster, or what's left of it, and you have to deal with Andy Reid and Mahomes. You've got to deal with Harbaugh and Herbert, and you have to deal with Sean Payton and Bo Nix.
Yeah.
By the way,
good luck.
Those Chargers, that Chargers team that's 8-4, and that Broncos team that's 8-5, this will be the worst version of both teams.
I agree.
This will be the worst version of both teams because Peyton had to clean up a lot of stuff. the last 2 years, the last 2 off seasons, and Harbaugh just arrived to the Chargers, and he started to clean up some stuff.
They got to figure out the receiver game, too, because Quentin Johnston he's hit or miss.
Ladd McConkey's the guy.
Ladd McConkey is the guy, but you need somebody opposite of him. If Quentin Johnston is not going to catch the ball, Ladd is going to, because, defenses will start cheating over that way. Now, catch it with 2 people on you.
Right.
It's not easy.
No.
So they gotta figure out, they gotta shore that part up as well.
They certainly do.
I could see the Broncos maybe winning a playoff game. I could see it.
This year?
Yeah, this year.
No.
I could see them being one of those teams that sort of upsets one of the better teams in the AFC, depending on who they play.
Yeah, let's play it out.
I don't think that they'll make like a run at all by any means. But
They'd be playing the Buffalo Bills right now.
Okay, so they're not going to win that game.
If they were, but it were to start today.
If they keep winning and they end up getting, either the 5 or the 5 seed.
They could.
You take on a banged up, not
Houston
good
team?
Houston team.
Yeah. I'll say this: whoever winds up being the 5th seed in both conferences, give me that team.
Yeah. Because why? What about what's the NFC? Who's the 4th seed?
Because I like Minnesota over Tampa. Mm-hmm. I like Green Bay over Tampa, and I like Washington over Tampa. And those are the wild card teams.
Tampa is not in the. Is not the 4 seed.
Give me 6 days.
Tampa is not.
You're laughing. I'm not laughing. Give me 6 days.
Who's the 4th seed, Anthony?
Atlanta.
They're going to win the division.
No,
they got one more division game left.
They'll lose to Minnesota this weekend. Tampa's going to beat the Raiders, and Tampa's going to have the NFC South back, and rightfully so. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. 2:13. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We're going to get Jamie on the line coming up at 2:30. So Jamie from 2:30 to 3. He is in Canada, so he'll join us via the phone line. We will ask him about the perfect time to make massive adjustments, which is something we're actually going to talk about next. We'll ask him about the line combinations as well. But we'll go over some of the line combinations that Jim Montgomery is changing up. And we'll talk about whether or not tonight is actually the perfect time to do it against Winnipeg. That's next on 101 ESPN. Blues Jets tonight pregame right here on 101 ESPN starting at 6 o'clock. Immediately following us here in the Fast Lane, Carey Davis.
Hello.
And Andrew Marsh. By the way, we are going to do some mic drops a little bit later on in the show. So if you're listening to us via the Schaefer Door Company 101 ESPN app, why don't you use the mic drop feature? Tell us what you think about Jim Montgomery. Different looking team. Need more time. Nothing looks different. What are your thoughts thus far on Jim Montgomery? We're going to do mic drops in the third hour of the show today.
I had a thought. Like you're asking for mic drops and people to call in and what they think about Jim Montgomery. Drew Bannister, what if he were to call in?
He can.
What do you think he would say?
Well, we don't take calls. We just take mic drops, Carey.
What do you think he would say?
Oh, we'd put Jim Bannister
through.
on. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, we can take calls, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some other shows take calls.
Yeah.
TMA takes calls.
Yeah. We could do that.
If Drew Bannister calls in, he's more than welcome in the Fast Lane.
Oh,
yeah.
You can come sit in with us.
Definitely. Yeah. Tell us what you're thinking, Drew.
Yeah. Do we? Yeah. You might have to have a mute button. I think we need the mute button.
No, Drew would be fine. He's a professional.
You would need the mute button for me.
I know. I wouldn't put you on if you got let go like that.
Good choice, my man.
Yeah. That's Carey Davis. He's a Super Bowl champ with the Steelers. He hit people for a living.
Yeah.
So the line combinations tonight for the Blues in Winnipeg. Your forward groups are Brandon Saad, Robert Thomas, Jake Neighbors, Dylan Holloway, Braden Shen, Jordan Kyrou, Zach Bolduc, Oscar Sundquist, Matthew Joseph. That's the third line. I combined them all. The fourth line will be Toropchenko, Foxa, and Walker. The defensive pairings, Philip Broberg and Colton Parayko. Suter, Falk, P.O. Joseph, and Matthew Kessel. Carey, I know that this is interesting to you because you've been asking, why not put Broberg with Parayko?
I've been asking for a while. I mean, if they're your two best defenders and they have been playing that way all season long. Obviously, Broberg missed some time because of the injury, but when he came back, even before he got injured, that was one of the questions that I was asking. You are putting so much on Suter, and he's an older guy. He's been playing a lot of minutes, playing a lot of time when Broberg was out, and he's been playing really well, but for me, if you are trying to be a lockdown defense, like I think of football, you put your best players out there, right? You're going to have your two guys on the blue line, and those two guys are going to play well. And I'm excited to see how well they work together because I think Colton Parayko has done a much better job this year. He's shooting the puck more. He's actually getting that one-timer, getting an opportunity, and letting it fly. And I think Broberg has been pretty good in making plays both on the offensive end and the defensive end. So I'm interested to see how those two work together on both ends of the ice.
I think it's a perfect time to do it too.
Yeah,
because you're taking on the best team in the NHL right now in the Winnipeg Jets. Mm-hmm. Why not? Right. Why not shuffle some things up? Because if it works, it'll have worked against the best team in the NHL.
Right.
If it doesn't work, it would have not worked against the best team in the NHL. And you can either stick with that or you can reshuffle things again. But ultimately, Jim Montgomery's trying to figure out what works, and he's doing so on the fly, and he's doing so with limited time being here. Why not change some things up? I got no issue with it.
Yeah.
The question is, though, like, will it matter that much? Does it matter that much? Because, Marsh, you can always make corrections or adjustments, I should say, during a game.
Right.
And Jamie's talked about this before with the defensive pairings. If the game's on the line, it's a one-goal lead you're trying to protect, and late in the third period, your best guys are going to be on the ice as it is.
For sure.
Especially your best defenders. When you look at these line combinations, though, what really stands out to you?
Well, I mean, the obvious one is the Broberg and Parayko.
So from a hockey standpoint, what is Montgomery trying to find with these two pairing, with this pairing?
I think he's trying to find just a lockdown group, like a lockdown pair of defensemen, similar to, we've been kind of comparing.
Say it.
Colton Parayko and Jay Bouwmeester. And that worked out pretty darn well, I'd say. It led to a Stanley Cup. And we actually said yesterday that
you two did say
we did.
You all said that they were going to win.
I mean, Carey said it for us.
I actually just referenced 2019, and then you connected dots that weren't there.
You said this is what happened in 2019, and this is what's happening now.
Yeah.
So essentially, you're saying it's history repeating itself. I don't know where the confusion comes in.
Well, I think you're saying that.
Well,
but
that's what the people heard.
All right, it's neither here nor there. Go ahead, Marshall.
I also like Brandon Saad on that top line. I think he's been playing pretty well. So I like his game, and I'm just interested to see what it looks like. What it looks like, and if it doesn't look right in the first period, and we see what we saw on Saturday, where you had a hard time generating offense in the first period, I would not be shocked if the lines look completely different in the second period.
Yeah.
Or even late in the first period. But I think you start off, you see what this team has, what kind of start they have against the Jets, who, like you mentioned, one of the best teams in the NHL. Them and the Wild tied right now, which is never saw that. I did not see the Wild being at the top of the leaderboard for the NHL. But, I think that you just see what you have at the beginning of the game, and then you just go from there. I mean, that's kind of what the game of hockey is. It's all about adjustments.
What do you want to see most out of this team tonight? Because I think we've talked about it. Well, other than the W. Okay. Because if you do this thing that Marshy's going to tell us, this is going to produce the W.
Got it.
Because it's the most important thing. So what is that, Marshy?
I would say simple plays, especially inside your own zone and in the neutral zone. We talked about it yesterday about the turnovers. A lot of turnovers, both blue lines. You have to minimize that, because this is a team that will absolutely take advantage of you turning the puck over at your blue line, at the other team's blue line. You have to limit turnovers. And it's super easy to say. It's about making the simple play. You hit the blue line or hit the red line. If you don't have anything, just dump it in or chip it by him and then go race after it. Board battles, I'd like to see a little bit more compete board battle-wise. Other than that, I mean, from a general standpoint, just be in the game. From an entertainment standpoint, I don't want to see this team go down 3-0 in the first period. Just entertainment-wise, just be in the game. I don't expect them to win necessarily. I hope they win, because this is a good team. This is a good Jets team, and they have a hell of a goaltender. So I just want to see them compete.
Get it to the third period.
Yeah.
Tied, up a goal, down a goal, be in the hunt. No, Carey doesn't like that. All right, 7 o'clock, the puck will drop in Winnipeg.
Carey wants a 7-1 victory.
Yeah, he does.
8-1.
8-1.
Yeah, seen that the other way around a couple of times.
Yeah, we need two of those. The other way.
You gotta get your get back.
All right, what does Jamie Rivers think about the line combination, specifically the Broberg and Parayko pairing? We'll get his viewpoint next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues take on the Winnipeg Jets tonight, and you can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Also last night, Monday Night Football, the Broncos defeated the Cleveland Browns 41-32. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. If you missed that conversation or anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the Schaefer Door Company 101 ESPN mobile app. It is free, so go download it. Head to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Jamie Rivers is in Winnipeg. He's going to join the show next, right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's head to the Thompson and Collier phone line. We're joined by our teammate, Jamie Rivers, who's on the road for tonight's Blues and Jets game, and he joins us from Winnipeg. What's up, Jamie?
Not much, boys. How we doing?
Just missing you, your face, your musk, things like that.
Musk.
Yeah,
I know. It's been a while, eh?
It's been a while.
Been a while.
What band?
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Me.
Yep. All right, Jamie, Jim Montgomery shaking things up. We got some different line combinations. I wanted to ask you first, though, about the Broberg Parayko pairing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think that it was like that for practice. I don't know if we'll see it for the game tonight. Time will tell. We might. There are possibly some game time decisions to be made. I know that there's a couple of guys that have some bumps and bruises, and some guys skated, some guys didn't this morning. Scott Perunovich is battling a little bit of a bug. So basically, Jim Montgomery said, they're all available except for Letty, but I don't really know who's in or out. So, yeah.
All right, well, if
the Broberg Parayko pairing, it's fun. Yeah, no, it's good. I think that it's not a bad idea. I think that Winnipeg, in particular with Kyle Kohner and Mark Scheifele, those guys have been Blues killers for, many years now. They seem to get points every time they play against the Blues. So maybe pairing those guys up from time to time to take a shift or two against that line might be something strategic. Again, I just don't know if that's what we're going to see full time tonight, even though they were paired up together for pregame skate. But I don't hate it, that's for sure. I mean, look, that's the pairing of the future, guys. It has to be. Like, I know we talked about earlier, a couple weeks ago or whatever, that Broberg Falk, I like that better. I like Parayko with Letty. Suter did a great job. Ultimately, I see Ryan Suter as a third pair defenseman. He's played really well, man. He's one of my favorite players on the team. I just love the way he plays gritty. He's got that old school snarl to him. But he is 39, will be 40 here soon enough. He doesn't need to be playing top 4 minutes. That is not why you signed him. You signed him to come in and shore up your defensive pairings, to help with your young guys. And then in case something like this happens, you can elevate him. It just happened that you lost Broberg and Letty at the same time. So it forced Suter to go from, the basement to the penthouse in a hurry. And then when he was in the penthouse playing top minutes, he was playing 25 to 30 minutes a game. So ultimately, I think that's too much. I think your best defensive core has him on your third pairing.
One of the other names that you didn't mention that didn't play last game was Buchnevich. Any update on him, and how much longer are we expected to not see him out there?
Well, he was on the ice this morning, kind of scooting around out there, which is always good news. Monty did make reference to he's not a player tonight, but he could be a player in Calgary. So if that tells us anything, means he's right there on the cusp of coming back. And if he does come back against Calgary, great. But if he needs, that one more day or so of rest, and he'll definitely, in my opinion, he'll be joining the team for the last 2 games in this road trip.
Jamie, we're getting some text messages to the Air Comfort Service text line wondering, where's Scott Perunovich?
He's here in Winnipeg.
Okay.
Well,
how's he doing?
He's got a little bit of an illness going on right now.
So what?
I mean, that's what I was told.
Can we expect him to be in the lineup anytime soon? I thought his game started to improve when he got more opportunities.
Yeah, and you could see him tonight. Like I said, there's some guys with some bumps and bruises that are battling through some things, and Scott Perunovich being one of them. He's dealing with a little bit of a different, ailment rather than bumps and bruises. But you could see him in tonight. You could see maybe one of the other guys out tonight. But I guess going back to what your initial comment is about him playing better, he has played better. He stepped up and played some pretty good minutes. But ultimately, Scott Perunovich is in a tough battle, man, because when you look at the top 6 defensemen, if you're going to be a competing team for a playoff spot, and you take the top 6 defensemen, when you guys put your 6 guys together, is Scott Perunovich an automatic in your top 6?
No.
He's not. And that's what sucks for him, is no matter how good he's played here recently, which he has played well, he's earned more confidence from the coaching staff. But once everybody gets back, on the left side, it will be Leddy, Broberg, Suter. And then you've got P.O. Joseph, who stepped up and played some pretty good minutes. Then you've got Matthew Kessel. You got Justin Falk. You've got Colton Parayko. You have a lot of really solid players that are sitting there, too. So although I don't think it's an automatic that he's not a part of it, at the same time, I can't say that he is a part of it in a big way once everybody's healthy. But credit to the young man. Given the opportunity, he elevated his game and played pretty well, and now he's in the discussion. So that's good for him.
Jamie Rivers joins us right now from Winterpeg, as you would say, Jamie. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie, what do you think, and it doesn't have to be these specific line combinations, but you've been around this version of Jim Montgomery's, Blues over the last week or so now. What ultimately do you think he wants out of his team? Like, if you were to put together 3 things that Jim Montgomery is looking for, what would those 3 things be?
I think it'd be effort, for sure. He likes guys that work really hard. Compete, I guess, would fall under that at the same time. He wants guys to play fast, to be upbeat. He likes good attitude. So these are all things that fall into the bucket for Monty. These are like the starting points, is if you've got a good attitude, good effort, you're willing to compete, you're willing to be a good teammate, hey, we can work with you. It's where you don't have either of those pillars, we'll call them, then there's problems. And you usually see guys that have those problems finding their way through those pillars. It sucks because then no matter how talented they are, if they're not willing to work every day, if they're not willing to compete every day, if they're not a good teammate, like attitude's not there, then there's no point because they're just going to – those guys, we call them kryptonite because they suck the life out of your lineup because they've got all of this talent that's available to them, yet they only access it from time to time. But when they're not accessing it, they drain the rest of the team of all their energy and enthusiasm. So, and I'm not saying the Blues have any of those players, and I certainly haven't seen any of that under Jim Montgomery. Monty's been super vocal with these guys. And let's not forget, everybody loves to dog on Jordan Kyrou, okay? And I know people sitting at home are saying, Kyrou, I'm sure the text line's going. What have you thought of Jordan Kyrou since Jim Montgomery's taken over? Because you go back to Kyrou's best season as a Blue, Jim Montgomery was the assistant coach, and Jim Montgomery has a great personal relationship with Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. His main job back then was to get these young guys going, get them playing the NHL game. Well, Monty left, and Kyrou has been inconsistent, we'll say, with his play. But now since Monty's come back, Jordan Kyrou's been a focal point in a good way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been a hell of a player for a couple of games here now. So, that can make all the difference in the world. And that's what we're seeing right now. Like being in the locker room and being on morning skate today, guys they're hooting and hollering. There's energy in the room. Guys are talking. There's a buzz. It's just different, man. It just feels like a different group of guys right now.
Jamie, you mentioned that Montgomery loves the effort and the compete from guys. One of the issues that they've had is turnovers. How do you fix that?
Well, what you do, Carey, is you pick up the puck with your hand.
Okay.
And you don't give it to the opposition.
Well,
that's the best way not to turn it over.
That's a
Maybe
penalty,
the
isn't it?
Sharks.
Is that a penalty? You can't skate with it.
It is a penalty, but the referee might miss it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, look, Monty also is really huge on details, and turning the puck over would be lack of details. Mm-hmm. And so I think that he harped on some things this morning at morning skate, which was odd to see because most of the time the head coach is not all that involved in the morning skate. He's out there, but the assistant coaches kind of run it. Well, Monty was running it today, and as soon as there was a couple of bad passes, either missing the mark or in the skates, he clapped. He clapped. He let him know that this is the NHL, and we're out here for 18 minutes in the morning to skate. It's not going to look like that for 18 minutes. And that he alluded to just last game, the amount of missed opportunities, whether it was turnovers, bad passes, bad puck decisions, all that stuff, called it sloppy hockey. So he's already on to it right now with this team. He's seen it the other night where we saw more glimpses of what it looked like for long stretches of time last year. And Monty's right on it, trying to correct it immediately.
Soft hands, concentration, not strength.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gordon Bombay.
Absolutely. I don't know about you guys, but hearing the possibility that Philip Broberg and Colton Parayko might not play together tonight, that really ruined my day. Thanks, Jamie.
Yep.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, Jamie. Glad you came on. Thanks, buddy.
Marshy's done for today.
Let's come around this time of year, boys.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jamie's going to hang on the line. He's going to give us his 52 keys to victory tonight for the Blues over the Jets, and we'll light the lamp next on 101 ESPN. Whether it's something that the Cardinals or Blues put on, or maybe it's just the College Basketball Writers Association Awards, maybe one of the speaker series, man, the Missouri Athletic Club, they always have something going on. They do such a great job, whether it's the downtown location, put on these major events, or maybe the West Clubhouse when it comes to kind of the family aspect of it. They've got stuff for everyone that's a club member. If you've got a family where you've got smaller kids, great. Check out, the Easter egg hunt or trunk or treat for Halloween. If you got, an older kids, you can get them involved in different clubs that they have, whether it's, basketball or tennis or, even some weightlifting stuff. It's a perfect spot. That's my MAC, Missouri Athletic Club. Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's head right back to the Thompson and Collier phone line where we got our guy Jamie Rivers, who will be on the call tonight for FanDuel Sports Network and the Blues and the Jets. You can listen to the pregame show right here on your home of the Blues, 101 ESPN, starting at 6 o'clock. Jamie, really tough matchup tonight against Winnipeg. Winnipeg's been the best team in the NHL virtually since week one. What are your keys to victory tonight for our Blues?
Well, first one was a big start. You got to have a big start. Last game, you didn't start on time, as they say in the hockey world, and it took you a while to find your legs. It took you a while to get control of that game, and you kind of looked off balance for most of the first half of the game against the Flyers. Winnipeg Jets are coming in here in a little bit of a slump, so you want to give them every reason to get more frustrated. They're going to be on home ice. Good crowd here. They'll be buzzing, trying to be electric. So it's important that the Blues have a good start. How do they have a good start? Well, we talked about it just a couple minutes ago. Turnovers. Limit the turnovers. Good puck management. The Winnipeg Jets are just way too good of a team to turn the puck over. Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, these guys will be flying around out there. But you got to make sure that you make those defensemen go back and work. They've got two really offensive-minded defensemen with Morrison and Pionk, and those are guys you want going back all night long to retrieve pucks, putting their face in the glass every chance that you can possibly do it. Another one for me is going to be more, this is going to be consistent, but pucks and bodies to the net. I think the Blues have shown under Jim Montgomery that when they're willing to get to the front of the net, when they're willing to battle, and when they're willing to put pucks to the front of the net, good things can happen. I mean, just look at the other night. Jake Neighbors gets the game-tying goal. He's standing in the blue paint. The puck is ricocheting off 3 or 4 different players, and he just takes a whap at it. And all of a sudden, it's a tie game, and you got a point out of it. And you didn't get the win, but you got a point. That keeps you going in the playoff race. Discipline, too. You want to make sure that you're not spending too much time on the penalty kill here. This is going to be a long trip for this team, and you're not going to have last change for 4 games in a row against 4 pretty good teams. You want to make sure that everybody's got balanced ice time and that you're not spending half the game killing penalties. Those are my keys to the game.
All right, well, let's light that lamp.
And a couple of guys can really shoot the puck.
Shooter! I must confess you scored first.
Well, who was the first person?
Breakaway! Shoots! Score! We got hockey to learn.
All right, Marsh, do you get the updated standings there, kid?
Yeah, so Jamie and I are still tied at 3. CD has 2, and Anthony, you're still looking to pick up your first goal of the year.
Didn't I have somebody that scored against New Jersey?
No.
Nope. No, okay.
No, you had Braden Shen.
I didn't get a pick, did I? I wasn't here. Who did you guys pick for me?
We gave you Jordan Kyrou.
Jordan Kyrou.
Not a bad decision.
We figured you would go right back to the well.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah. All right, so who's up first?
We'll let Jamie go.
Go, Jamie, go.
All right. I went to the well the other day. It was a game too early. Didn't have the next game. Jake Neighbors is my guy tonight. He's got some family in the building. He's always up for playing these Western Canadian teams. Give me Jake Neighbors, please.
All right.
Give me Justin Falk tonight.
Ooh.
Hopefully he's playing.
Do you want a backup pick?
Give me Robert Thomas.
By the way, I took Robert's
playing though. We'll give you Falk.
How about whoever scores? Hey, you know what? No. I'll go with Robert Thomas. He's for sure playing, right?
Yes.
Is he?
No, Robert Thomas.
I took Robert Thomas in back-to-back games, and then I'm like, I'm going to go, and I'm not. And then he scored.
That's frustrating.
That's the way my season's going right now.
Give me Zach Bolduc.
Zach Bolduc. All right, I got Kyle Connor.
You got to pick somebody that plays for the St. Louis Blues. That's how the game goes.
Hell of a pick, but no.
St. Louis Blues. I tried this with the home run during the season. Tried a different team.
Well, it's tonight's game. It's Jets and Blues.
Yeah, no, you got to
Kyle Connor.
You got to go with a St. Louis Blue.
Is he on the Blues now?
I didn't know he got traded.
That'd be nice. Dylan Holloway. I'll take Dylan Holloway. All right, Jamie, we're going to do a mic drop feature later on in the show via the Schaefer Door Company 101 ESPN mobile app. where people can leave mic drops on their thoughts thus far on Jim Montgomery. Sneak peek into my thought, this looks like almost a completely different team under Jim Montgomery. Maybe there's some hyperbole there, but I think that this team looks vastly different under Montgomery. If you were to leave us a mic drop, but you basically just say it right now, what are your thoughts on how the Blues look under Jim Montgomery? Do you need more time? Do you think it looks different? Do you think there's still a lot of the same elements and Montgomery's going to need some time to clean it up? Where are you at?
Well, I think this team looks re-energized. It really does. I think that for a while, all those tight games that the Blues were in, all the one-goal games, whether they were losses or wins, and, certain guys playing a lot, young guys not playing enough, I think it just sort of fell into a rut. And I see a team right now that is completely re-energized, and that the fact that they're excited to be at the rink every day, you can see that they're excited to listen to what the coaching staff has to say. I see a coaching staff as well that is re-energized as well. They're talking to players. They're more involved. You can tell that they're having different coaching meetings, or the topics are different. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing, and I'm liking the reaction that Jim Montgomery is getting from the players. And, even the players who, we'll call them on the outside looking in, meaning they're either fourth line or extra players or healthy scratches, even those guys are engaged right now into wanting to get better and wanting to contribute. So it's a small sample size, of course, but
Sure.
It really isn't. But it really isn't, because Monty has a great resume in the NHL as a head coach, and he has a great resume as the Blues assistant coach. And that's the most recent memory we have, is what he was able to do to help Craig Berube and his staff. And it's just carried over. It's kind of like the players that he worked with before already know what he is about. They already know how he likes to coach. And I think that that's a huge advantage for Monty, is that he has representation within the four walls of that locker room, to where new guys they might question the new coach, or might question his thoughts on something, where now they've got the guys who did before, they just turn to the new guys and say, just trust him.
Sure.
Trust him. He knows what he's talking about. And that goes a long way, because then the players that don't know go, okay, you know what? If Braden Shen, Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, Colton Parayko, all these guys who are pretty big names are going to tell me, don't worry about it, you're going to love him, or don't worry about it, he knows what he's talking about, you're probably a little more apt to listen to those guys.
Yeah, Jamie, I said yesterday that I thought that now the Blues, I didn't think they played all that well on Saturday. Jordan Binnington did, but I think he made some unbelievable saves. But I think Saturday's game pre-Jim Montgomery, I don't know if they come back and get a point out of that. Like the effort, or not the effort, but the performance, I didn't think they deserved a point, essentially. But the way that they were able to claw back, I thought that was impressive.
Yeah, I agree. And being down between the benches for that game, the energy levels never dipped on the Blues bench. Like, they knew they were in one. They weren't playing well in the first half. Guys were frustrated. Monty was frustrated. But you didn't see, the slumping of the shoulders. You didn't hear the slamming of the doors, the kicking of the boards, the throwing of water bottles. All these things that were in play for a good portion of the first quarter of the season weren't in play. It's almost like, it's just like, okay, relax, let's keep going. We will find our game. In the meantime, Binner's going to be a superhero, and he's going to stop as much as he possibly can for us, which he did. And then you found a way to get that goal at the end and get the tie. You lost it in overtime. An unfortunate turnover, because Robert Thomas was right in on net. He probably would have scored at that point. But it goes back the other way, and Michkov barely beats Binnington for the win. But, Marcia, you're right. Go back 2 weeks ago, not only would they have had trouble being in that game, they would have had trouble after the first period, halfway through the first period, because they would have been on their heels, a lot of it. And there may not have been that pushback that you're looking for. So, yeah, I agree 100%.
All right, Jamie, we're going to put you on the spot here. Zoosh from the Snake Pit chose you yesterday in Bet the Board.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so we need a Bet the Board pick from you. I can read off some of these hockey games for you tonight, or if you've got one that you like. Edmonton's
Well, boys, here's what I'm going to do. When we hang up, I'm going to open my Circus Sports Illinois app, and I'm going to check out the best odds available out there for betting apps, and then I'm going to pick one. I'll send it to you.
Well, look at you. Look at you. Boy, you're slick. All right, buddy. Hey, enjoy Winnipeg, and we'll see you in about 3 months.
Sounds good, guys.
All right, buddy.
I'll talk to you soon.
See you, man.
Bye.
That's Jamie. That's the one and only Jamie Rivers here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. You can see him tonight on FanDuel Sports Network, but you can listen to the game right here on 101 ESPN, your home of the Blues. 101 ESPN and the Blues Radio Network. Andrew Marsh as what's trending for you next. I don't know if you've ever been to a dealership that you walk around the lot and you're like, man, I don't really love any of these vehicles. I don't like the color there. I don't like the make there. And why am I here? You won't find that at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum because they have over 700 new and used vehicles all in one location. That's right. If you walk the dealership lot at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum, you will find your next new vehicle. They've got discounted prices on every vehicle in stock. You can look for massive year-end dealer discounts, like up to $11,900 off MSRP on select new Nissan models. Low financing rates available right now at Auto Center's Nissan, such as 0% APR for 60 months on a brand new Rogue. Available no payments for 6 months on select new Nissans or no payments for 3 months on select used vehicles. It's all available at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. And as always, qualified new and used vehicles come with their complimentary lifetime warranty. Plus, all new Nissans come with that 30-day return promise. Within 30 days, if you're not completely satisfied with the vehicle, you can bring it back. And no one offers any other option quite like that. But Auto Center's Nissan, 3 free oil changes, including through the Nissan Maintenance Care Plan as well. Tell them Stalter sent you when you head out to Herculaneum. It's Auto Center's Nissan at autocentersnissan.com.
What's trending now in the world of sports?
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
What's trending now is brought to you by Goodwill, creating opportunities and changing lives. Together, building a brighter future. Give hope, give local, give Goodwill.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Carey, let's talk about LeBron James.
Oh, do we have to?
Carey, that was your bet the board pick
That
last
was a
night.
bad pick, man.
21.5 points.
Yeah, he got half of
needed.
that.
LeBron,
He got the half part.
he has been in a shooting slump, and one of his goals this year is to play all 82 games. One, do you see that happening? And two, are we seeing in real time LeBron James, essentially his career dwindling down, and he's not becoming the basketball player he once was? Or do you still think he's got a little extra gas in the tank?
What Marsh is trying to ask you is
he washed?
it over? Is he Kirk Cousins? I got you, Marsh.
Kirky's had enough. I think Kirk's had enough.
Every opportunity that you get to bury
He
that
takes
man.
a shot at him. You love Kirk Cousins.
He ruins my Sundays. I can ruin him here. Okay?
All right, respect it. Is he washed? I don't know, man. Like, this notion that he wants to play 82 games troubles me because he's only done it one time in his career. He was 33 years old. I don't know that this is who he is. I don't know LeBron James. I've never met him, never had any interaction with him. But he strikes me as a guy that, like, why do you care if you play 82 games now? Like, why is it?
He cares what people think about him.
Yeah. Why do you care so much what people say? Bro, you are one of the, even if it's 5 greatest players, you're probably 3 greatest players of all time. Maybe top 2 greatest players of all time. Some people, you're number 1. Why do you care so much about what people say about you? Like, why are you just so concerned? Don't play 82 games, man. Take some time off. You stink. You got 10 points last night, brother. Like, you're like, I think 3 for 19 or 0 for 9. He's shooting 3-pointers. Like, you have been bad the last 3 or 4 games. Your team is, 2-7 and 2-5 in their last 7 games. Like, you guys aren't playing well. And AD had 12 points. It's not like he was carrying the load. It's not like he was, I got you, LeBron. I know you're older. I scored 12 points, 2 more than you. Like, stop it, man. I don't know. Maybe that's why LeBron, it gets under my skin so much. Because when you're great, you don't have to tell nobody. They tell you. People tell other people.
Yep.
He's been telling people his whole career.
You don't have to.
No, you don't.
When you are great, people speak it for you. You just living in your truth, man. Nobody, you don't have to walk. You know I'm great, right? Hey, you
don't have to say anything.
You know I'm great. If you don't, now you do. I'm great. I have to tell people. You just be you.
Yep.
But when you are insecure or uncomfortable or concerned, it's weird. Don't play 82 games. Figure out a way to win games. You guys scored.
Yeah.
You didn't score enough points last night. You lost by 29, I think.
Here's the thing about LeBron. He has been hyped since high school. And he has delivered.
Every time.
Outside of Sidney Crosby over the last, 20 years, 25 years? Has anybody been as hyped as LeBron James at a young age?
Bryce Harper was
and
up
they
there.
deliver. Bryce Harper's another great one.
I mean, Connor McDavid as well.
Yeah. He's still younger.
I don't remember seeing maybe I'm wrong. You know more about the hockey world than I do. Sidney Crosby, when he was coming up through the ranks, it was like
he's the next one.
He's going to be great. And he has been. LeBron, damn high school games are being showed on ESPN. He has been he has had a Hall of Fame career. Usually it don't work out that way.
Tiger Woods, 618 just texted.
But I said in the last 20 years.
Oh, last 20 years.
Because Tiger was like
97.
mid-90s. Yeah.
Especially in like the social media, like internet era. Yeah.
I'm just
there hadn't been one.
LeBron, and maybe LeBron's like high school was like right around 2000 or 99, whatever.
He came in the league. He came in the league in 03.
Okay, so late 90s.
2000.
My point is, since
02.
LeBron was in high school,
in the
have we
21st
seen,
century.
Yeah, have we seen a player as hyped, to Marsh's point, on social media or TV that has delivered? No. So just do you, man. Do your thing.
It's not enough for some people.
You don't have to. I know. You don't have to prove a damn thing. But for him, it doesn't matter.
Why?
I'm going to play 82 games.
Why? Take a break, man. You've done. You got your son to play a game with you. It's a historic moment.
Yeah.
You're the all-time leading scorer in ever. Like, dude, you don't. It doesn't matter.
Do you think that he has hurt his image in the past, few years with the Lakers? Or even does it go back to the whole Miami Heat thing?
Yeah, I think that did it for a lot of people. But if those people are being honest, they were also hoping for LeBron to fail. I think there's some people that saw LeBron, the whole high school thing, and they just inherently have to say he's not going to be any good. Don't know a lick about basketball, never scouted anything like that. Not that I have, but there's some people that are just
those people
that don't want somebody else to get so much attention because they got their own demons that they're battling. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't take much. The decision, I don't like him. You never did.
Right.
I never did.
Those people are called haters, Anthony.
There you go.
Yeah.
I do think, though, him going back to Cleveland and then winning the championship, coming back, defeating Golden State, that 3-1 deficit that they had, I think that definitely sort of corrected whatever image that you thought that he had based on the decision. Mm-hmm. But I think after that, the whole Lakers thing, he kind of ruined that. The team was good. It was a good team.
Yeah.
I mean, they won a Mickey Mouse ring, but...
and then they got rid of everybody. And then they got rid of some of their best players.
Because I want to play with my best friends.
You got rid of Caruso. Like, you got rid of the heart. The guys that play defense, that rebound. I don't know. Those people are important. Mm-hmm. They may not be Russell Westbrook. Yeah, he's cool. Like, he's a good player. He's a Hall of Famer. But those guys did the dirty work, and you moved on. So, whatever.
Like, obviously, I wasn't an adult during the 90s for Jordan. But obviously, he had some things happen and, out off the court and whatnot. But he almost comes off as, like, mysterious. And I feel like that's kind of like Sidney Crosby, mysterious.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really know anything about the guy.
Right. Yep.
Except for that he wants to win.
That's it.
Yeah, there is a mystique to Sidney Crosby. That's for sure. It's a good call. Droid FX, he kind of sums it up here. I like this. I like what Droid said in the snake pit. He goes, I really like LeBron his first and second stint in Cleveland. I did not like him on Miami and don't like him now. I think there's a lot of people that feel that way.
I liked them in Miami. I liked that Miami team. I thought they were.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching them play.
Not two, not three.
Just two.
Yeah.
Don't just stop there.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, just not one, but two.
But two.
I did.
Not one, but two. Yeah.
I did enjoy the Ray Allen three-pointer.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I wanted the Spurs to win that as everybody in Miami was going up those damn stairs. Yeah. I wanted them to win.
Got a hater.
Yeah.
Talking about haters.
Don't leave.
Right
don't
here.
leave. You stick it out. All right.
It was
stick
over,
it out with your
Anthony.
team.
It was over.
Like Carey bringing his kids to that Cardinals game when they were getting drubbed.
I only stayed because you forced me.
You forced your kids to watch that.
You made me stay.
This is what life's about.
Sometimes you got to lose to learn how to win.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to fail forward,
Yeah. I'd rather not fail.
Yeah.
I'd rather just succeed in life.
Sometimes you have to. Andrew Marsh wants to bring steroids back to baseball. I'll tell you why.
Not what...
Okay, that's not how he phrased it.
I mean, it kind of is,
He
but...
kind of say that.
He kind of phrased it that way. He'll explain why next on 101 ESPN. That's Andrew Marsh came up with kind of a controversial topic for us today. He goes, hey, boys. And he said it just like this. Carey, you were there. Mm-hmm. He said, boys, I think baseball needs to invite steroids back into the game. Now, Marsh, why the hell would you say that?
Well, Anthony, it's funny because I don't think I actually said that.
No, I heard it. I was listening.
Carey was there?
Mm-hmm. You know what baseball needs? Steroids.
Yeah. Mm. He said Ding Dong Johnsons, and you know how you get Ding Dong Johnsons, right?
The juice.
Exactly. Mm. Yeah. So, Marsh, if you didn't phrase it quite like that, how would you say that you phrased it?
Yeah, so my way of saying this is, does Major League Baseball need another steroid-esque era? Mm. And what I mean
by
that...
Do they need steroids?
No.
I think that's what he said. That's what I heard.
Thank you.
I mean, it was a good time in baseball. It was a great time.
It was fun.
But
there's no doubt about it.
That's my point. It revitalized baseball. And right now, I feel like baseball is sort of in a lull. And we want to make it better. Let's change a bunch of rules. Let's make the game quicker. Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Is that actually going to do really anything to spark more people to watch the game because you shaved 45 minutes off of it?
Right.
Maybe. Or is it this golden at-bat rule that Rob Manfred wants to implement? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
So, let's set this up properly. The golden at-bat rule could give Major League Baseball a new shine, but is it worth it? That's what Jason Stark writes at The Athletic. Said Rob Manfred stopped by the podcast, blah, 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 blah. There are a variety of rule change ideas that are being talked about out there, Manfred said. One of them, there was a little buzz around it in an owners meeting, was the idea of a golden at bat. The golden at bat, what the heck is that? That's what you're thinking, right? I can help you out with that. First of all, it's not to be confused with the golden goose, the golden retriever, or even the golden arches.
What about the golden sombrero?
Nah, well, it's different, too.
Definitely don't want that.
It won't set up your life, bark at the mail truck, blah, blah, blah. What if a team could choose one at-bat in every game to send its best hitter to the plate, even if it wasn't the guy's turn to hit? That's the golden at-bat concept in a nutshell. So, for example, back in the day, the Cardinals could send up Albert in the bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 2 outs. You can send their best hitter, regardless of when his at-bat was.
Now, let me ask a question. So, I have a couple questions. What if you are due up in that inning? Do you get to bat twice? Do you get an opportunity to say, all right, you're due up third in this inning, but I'm going to let you bat first in this inning?
I don't know if there's any sort of, ground rules.
So let's say I bat out of turn. Where do I now go into the lineup? Does the lineup just completely shift? Does that person take my spot and now I take their spot?
As Jason Stark said, there's no rule yet in terms of how this is all going to shake out. Each team gets to pick one at-bat at any point in the game, but only once, to play its golden at-bat card. So it would save that card for the Juan Soto moment like we saw in the postseason, or would it play in the second inning with the bases loaded and a chance to blow up the game? Or there's this option. Each team gets one golden at-bat rule per game, except only in the 7th inning or later. So he goes over some different scenarios. Do you guys like the idea?
I feel
before we get into the weeds.
No. And I feel like this is more...
a gimmick.
Needed for a Savannah Banana game. I think the Savannah Bananas would love this. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
You get your best player to come up bases loaded anytime you want to, do it. You think that's ridiculous. This is not baseball.
Yeah.
That's a clown show.
Yeah.
That's not the rules of the game. Because it's weird. And I'm not a fan. And maybe I'm the old guy in the room and,
Well, you got a couple of old guys then, because I'm with you.
I think it's ridiculous.
I think it's dumb.
Here's my take on this. Major League Baseball continues to focus on everything but the problem.
What's the problem?
In my opinion, the problem is you're focused on the business and not the actual game. You're focused on speeding things up to try to attract potentially new viewers, yet your game was coined as the great pastime, right?
It's past its time now.
Well, we'll see.
Or you could lean into that. It's a slower game by nature. It'll never be hockey. Stop pretending that it could be. You could speed it up. How about you do the one thing that will guarantee that your fans in different markets will be interested?
Bring back steroids, like Marshy said.
Well, no, I don't think you do that.
Anthony, I think you're leaning towards a salary cap.
Why don't you create a salary cap and a salary floor? You got your hand up, Carey?
So there's a players' union. Most professional sports have them. I'm pretty sure all of them. All the 4 major sports have them.
Yeah,
and
baseball is the strongest.
Players' union means the players have a union. They come together and they say yay or nay to certain things, and you, sir, nay.
Right.
How the hell I'm going to tell you I can put a cap on how much money I can make.
That's right.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, find something else to do.
Okay.
Find a different way.
Well, people are finding different things to watch.
Okay.
Because my team has been out of it since December.
You'll never get a salary
cap.
cap.
My team is not the Dodgers.
You'll never get a salary cap in baseball.
I completely understand
ever.
that.
There's not a player on this earth
Completely understand
that plays professional baseball that will agree to those terms.
Or the owners.
There is nothing that you can. They won't agree to a floor.
Correct.
So, and the players won't agree to a cap.
Carey, I'm not fighting with you.
Yeah, so
I completely agree with you.
That is
but that's the
non-negotiable conversation. Like we don't even. That's a non-starter.
That's the problem.
So you got to move on and find a different way. And I think your way, lean into who you are. It's baseball. Some people love it. A lot of people love it. Some people don't. And they're not going to because you put a golden at bat in the game or I think the people that love the game, I love the fact that there's no more shift. I love the fact that we should have more stolen bases. Like you get more opportunities. Like that to me, speed in the game, inside of the game, is what makes the game more exciting. People making plays in center field, diving for balls that are in right center and they're not supposed to go catch it. Those are the things that make the game exciting. Juan Soto coming up at an opportune time and hitting the home runs. Shohei Ohtani, the best players doing their jobs. But trying to add value to the game by, what we're going to do? We're going to have a Harlem Globetrotter type of moment against the Washington Generals.
Yeah, it's gimmicky.
That'll be fun.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
I completely agree.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They're focused on, Major League Baseball continues to focus on gimmicks. Thinking like that's you're just alienating your hardcore fans.
I'd rather them move the fences up than implement this rule.
Yes. If you want to do something, make all the stadiums the same dimensions. How about that?
Well, no, I don't like that.
Do that. That way, if it's a home run in one place, it's a home run in another place. It's equal. That way, there's no advantage for any pitchers or any hitters. It's all the same. Everybody's stadium is exactly the same. All the dimensions are the same. All the dimensions are the same in every other sport. Hockey, the rink is the same length. Football, the field is the same length and the same width. Basketball, the court is the same length. Do that.
Soccer's different pitch.
Nah, is it?
Yep.
Each field, they got to be the same.
They're not.
You're the soccer guy, so I don't want to argue with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I won't go against you on that
if
one.
you say that that's the case.
Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate just the confidence overall. But the pitches are different.
Yeah, really? Especially
I said pitch, right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you know what you said.
The indoor pitches are much smaller than the outdoor ones.
Yeah, MLS, they've got different pitch sizes as well.
I don't know how baseball gets out of this. I really don't. I think they've shot themselves in the foot with the 3 true outcomes. And I don't know how you get out of this. I really don't, unless you bring back like small ball or like whitey ball, and every team does that. But like, there's
you can't force that.
No, you can't. Like, and that's the thing. You can't force that. And I think ultimately the product stinks now. And you see that with like a lot of stuff. Like, I'll bring up the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We always like talking about that, right?
Yeah.
That was great. Unbelievable.
You referring to the documentaries?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For 10 years, Anthony, we got some of the greatest superhero movies I've ever seen.
Yes.
And now it sucks. Because why? Because, we want almighty dollar. We just want the money. We're going to pump out all these different shows and movies. The VFX are going to suck. We're going to work all these people and not pay them. We're just going to keep pumping stuff out. But we're not going to take the time and actually write a good story. That's what baseball's doing right now. They care about money. They don't care about the game.
Correct.
That's another good idea. John scores. No rainouts. Keep playing.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Football plays in the rain. Keep going.
Soccer plays in the rain.
Keep going.
I don't know. I prefer.
If it's snowing in Chicago, when they play the Winter Classic, guess what they're going to do?
They're going to play.
They're going to play.
I actually did see a game that was snowing in Chicago at
There you
Wrigley
go.
Field. It was miserable. That wind was going. It was rough.
Me personally, I prefer to go down to the ballpark when it's slightly drizzling and then sit there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then go home after it rained for 15 minutes.
Maybe partake in some concessions.
Yeah.
Pay for parking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Eat up.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, we did get a great text from 618. We were talking about the golden at-bat rule. From the 618, Ollie thought that rule already existed when he brought in Brandon Crawford against the Cubs.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations to Brandon Crawford. He is retired.
Congrats.
He finally had enough with baseball after playing for the Cardinals. He's like, you know what? I'm
I
done.
don't think that's what
I'm
that
done
was.
here.
He had a great career.
He certainly did. All right, that's Fastline on 101 ESPN. We're going to play Are You Sold next. So if you've got an Are You Sold comment or statement for us, 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Again, Are You Sold next?
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues take on the Winnipeg Jets tonight, and you can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We'll talk with Joe Vitale later in the show at 5 o'clock, so stay tuned for that. Once again, Blues Jets tonight right here on 101 ESPN. Last night, Monday Night Football, the Broncos bested Jameis Winston's Cleveland Browns. We talked a little bit about that. If you missed that or anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Schaefer Door Company 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have Are You Sold coming up next. So get your Are You Sold statements into the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Are You Sold coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by
Saliga
Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Just heard Marsh in the Sports Center update. Let's do some Are You Sold right now. Are You Sold? 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. So if you got a Are You Sold statement, send it there. Marsh, go for it.
From the 573, are you sold on there only being 4 legitimate Super Bowl contenders?
100% yes.
Sure.
Those 4 for me as Carey looks at things.
Let's see. Buffalo,
Kansas
Pittsburgh,
City,
Kansas
Buffalo,
City,
Philly,
Philadelphia,
and Detroit.
That's 5.
I got 4.
You didn't count Pittsburgh?
I didn't.
Shame on you.
Thank you.
What the hell, man?
Well, if you're going to count Pittsburgh, we got to count Minnesota.
We talk.
I agree.
I don't think Minnesota.
What?
I'm sorry.
They're 10 and they'll be 11-2 soon.
They will be.
What?
I'm sold on there's only 4. Buffalo, Kansas City,
This guy.
D-Town, P-Town.
Shame on you.
Nah.
P-Town, is that Pittsburgh?
Yep, it is.
Philadelphia.
We were so close. So close. Sticking with football here, the Water Boy wants to know, and no, this has nothing to do with the Gridiron Guys podcast. Are you sold on Torrey Holt being a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Why is he not in the Hall of Fame?
Because wide receivers.
It's too many.
There's too many.
Like every year, they add more to the list. Like this year, the wide receivers you have are Reggie Wayne, Hines Ward, Steve Smith, Torrey Holt, and Quan Bolden. Of those 5 guys, I would say he's probably the first on that list of receivers.
Who'd you say?
Anquan,
Smith?
Steve Smith, Torrey Holt, Hines Ward, Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, I would say so.
So, but then you got to look at who, because they usually only take 5 people. Eli Manning, I think, is a first ballot Hall of Famer, if not for name alone. Antonio Gates, in my opinion, is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think this is his first time. You could find a way. You got Terrell Suggs, you got Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri.
Did Luke Kuechly play long enough for you to for him to qualify as a Hall of Famer?
Because the linebacker, San Francisco linebacker,
Patrick Willis
got in. I think Luke Kuechly, because Luke Kuechly was a Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
he was I don't know how many times Pro Bowler he was, but he was one of the best. I think Luke Kuechly is a Hall of Famer,
especially the way that players talk about him, like being one of the smartest defensive players to ever play the game. Mm-hmm. It's hard not to have that guy in.
Good point. You played with the smartest.
Hayden?
Defensive player.
Troy.
By far. He's my favorite player.
Was he smarter than Ed Reed?
They play so.
Ed Reed was an absolute stud.
I had a spirited conversation with a individual about this. And most people, this is what really, and this person in particular knows better, but he tried me. And I was like, nice try, my guy. Those two play different positions. Ed Reed is a free safety. Troy is a strong safety. So Troy is more in the box, which is why he would have more sacks. Mm-hmm. Ed is top of the field, center field safety, which is why he would have more interceptions. Mm-hmm. They are both fantastic players. Ed Reed I never played with Ed, but I can tell based off of film and what he knows what's about to happen. He's a film rat. Like, he understands it. He understands what's going on. Troy was the same way. Troy literally, I watched him. I watched him study film. While we were in there playing cards, this man is in there on the computer watching film. He's in there with us, but
he ain't there with you.
He's watching film. Mm-hmm. Brother, we've been watching film for the last 3 hours. You got more in you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he could tell you what play was coming based on down, distance, split, where they were on the field. That's why he did so many things, which people like, that's just a natural instinct. It is. But it's also, he's very well aware of what play is coming because he's been watching hours upon hours of film while we're playing cards. He's still studying film. And so he was different in that regard. Mm-hmm.
And he has great hair.
He does have great hair, no doubt.
Yeah. One of my favorite Ed Reed stories, Bill Belichick talks about it. I believe they're playing whatever Peyton Manning team it was, Broncos or Colts. But he knew... Basically, he baited Peyton Manning into doing something, knowing what he typically does, knowing that Peyton knew what he did, and baited him into throwing an interception, like based off of how he reacted from the first pump fake.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And
that's amazing.
Oh, my gosh. Where would Darrelle Revis stand in that conversation?
I mean, he's one of the...
Ed is, in his prime, he wiped out one half of the field.
Ed... Or
Darrelle Revis.
Yeah, Darrelle Revis, I think he's probably second or third best corner. Deion is number one. Mm-hmm. Darrell Green is up there as well, just based on sheer speed and longevity. And
he was still running at 17 years in the league.
He was still flying.
Green was incredible.
Darrelle Revis is definitely one of those lockdown corners, one of the top corners of all time. But, yeah.
Yeah,
I just looked. The finalist list comes out December 28th.
I'll be interested to see.
I think Torrey makes a finalist. I think he's a finalist again, but trimming it down from 25 to 15 and then to 5 people. It's tough.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah. We were just talking about the Major League Baseball Golden at Bat potential rule implementation, and we brought up steroids. From the 314, are you sold on Major League Baseball having a designated roid guy? Every team gets one guy who can juice as hard as they want.
Steroids.
Seems a little gimmicky. But hey, Major League Baseball is all about gimmicks right now, so yeah, might as well.
One guy? Does he get paid more? How does he get paid?
He gets paid. Look, it's based a sliding scale, stats. Just like anybody else.
Man.
It's what the market will allow. So the Dodgers will have the best one, and we'll go from there.
From the 573, are you sold that Alabama deserves to be in the college football playoff for winning the head-to-head over South Carolina and having the strongest strength of schedule out of Bama, Ole Miss, and Miami?
Well, I think Miami played themselves out.
If it's those three, I'm good with Alabama.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be those three. Ole Miss, the conversation's kind of over with. It's done. Yeah. Ole Miss won't get in.
Yeah.
Miami, I think you're right. They played themselves out. But it really depends on what happens in this ACC title game with Clemson and SMU.
Do you think SMU is in regardless, even if they lose? Does it matter how they lose? Because I think Clemson is out if they lose.
Yeah, because they would have
3 losses.
They would have the Georgia loss, the South Carolina loss. They lost to somebody else too.
They just lost to South Carolina.
Okay, so maybe they
lost to Louisville.
Oh,
they lost to Georgia, Louisville.
You're done.
Yeah, they got to win.
Yeah.
So, but if SMU loses, if Clemson wins their automatic bid, if SMU loses, are they still in? Because their only loss thus far is to BYU.
And then they would also have the loss to Clemson.
Yeah, it must suck having that job, trying to decide that.
I mean, you're better off. So Oregon is in, Texas is in, Penn State's in, Notre Dame, Georgia, Tennessee. But I almost want to wonder if Texas beats the hell out of Georgia, are they in? Because they'll be 10-3 at that point.
Would Georgia be out, you say?
Yeah. If Texas smokes them. Now, the likelihood of that happening is.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
So
I think the committee wants Georgia to win.
Well, yeah, they want
it makes their decision easier. It makes their decision easier.
Yep. Because
Alabama cannot be in this playoff.
I don't think Alabama's in. The three teams that the texter mentioned, I think, are all out. I think Alabama, Ole Miss, and Miami are all out.
South Carolina gets in?
No.
So
you got, because Arizona State or Iowa State would leapfrog and be, like, I'm looking at the rankings right now. Alabama, this is the AP Top 25. Alabama is number 11. But Arizona State is 12 and Iowa State is 16. So one of them would be ahead
there you go.
of Alabama if this is what the playoff ranking looks like tonight.
Does it help Miami that they have a guy that is fighting? He won't win, but fighting for the Heisman in Cam Ward.
I don't think it matters. I think the thing that matters the most is who your losses are.
I mean, it mattered last year when Florida State lost their quarterback. They didn't make it in because of one guy.
Right, but that changed their entire team,
which I hated.
You know what I mean? Like Miami, I understand what you're trying to build the narrative of, like, one guy, the storyline that I get.
Yeah, I mean that
Florida
is
State lost their QB,
which
they based it off of one guy
that wasn't going to play.
I understand that, but there's still, like, that's part of the criteria. We're looking at players a part of the team.
Right.
This guy is a Heisman finalist, essentially.
He's in
the top 5, I believe, for odds to win the Heisman. They lost and they should not be in.
Yeah,
I want to see him in. They helped me win. Bet the board last month.
I know, and you got a special place in your heart for Miami. You've been watching the Netflix documentaries, the actual documentaries on Miami of late. But no, I don't think they're going to make it. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. We'll see tonight what the latest rankings are. We got, let's see here. Let's do NFL 4 Downs next. NFL 4 Downs is next. We got the Gauntlet in 15 minutes. Marsh and I are up here, round 3 of the Gauntlets. Things getting a little dicey. But before we get to that Gauntlet, again, NFL 4 Downs next. we have your shot right now to score a pair of tickets to see your St. Louis Blues take on the New Jersey Devils on December 17th at Enterprise Center. The first 12,000 fans in attendance that night will take home a Jake Neighbors Winter Classic bobblehead, courtesy of Pepsi Zero Sugar. Text into the text line now, the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646 to win free tickets to Blues versus Devils on December 17th. You can find all the ticket details and a bonus chance to register to win at 101ESPN.com or your 101 ESPN mobile app. Yesterday's trivia question centered on Carey Davis and where he was over the weekend. Where was he on Saturday? Carey?
Yes.
You're at Wrigley Field.
I was watching the football game.
You were watching a football game. One of the teams involved was a team that Carey really wanted to play for.
Yeah.
Which team was that? Coming out of high school. He wanted to play for a team. In fact, that's why he said he gave the Heisman to Michigan. Which team was it? Which team did Carey want to play for
I was
coming out
going to
of school?
say, I thought the Michigan-Ohio State game was in Columbus.
It was in Columbus.
Yeah.
Carey did not want to play for the Wolverines. That's why he no-called-no-showed him.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was a decision, you know. Good, bad, or indifferent. It was a decision.
It was the decision.
I mean, some would say.
Text in now, 314-399-9646. All right, Marsh, for NFL 4 downs.
First down.
All right, let's start off. What's the main difference between Denver Russell Wilson and Pittsburgh Russell Wilson?
Coaching. Sean Payton.
Which is weird because it's Sean Payton.
Well, he's a good coach, right? But I said it earlier, there are some coaches that are, and we talked about this, some people, they're so dialed into just X's and O's and not really getting to know the person. I think Mike Tomlin has done a great job. And you noticed this in Russell's first start, and those that didn't notice it. There was no slogan. There was no saying. The reporters tried to bait him into asking him about it. What's the saying? He's like, we're going to hold off on that.
Trust in Russ.
He won't say it.
Let Russ cook.
Won't say that either.
Okay.
Because the head coach that he plays for now made it abundantly clear, hey, I don't give a damn about, and I don't know this, but I know Mike T. I don't give a damn about no slogan. You're here to win games, bro. I don't care what, this is about business. We're here for one reason, to win games and to win championships. If that's not why you're here, you're going to find something else to do. And that's the mindset. And so I think you heard all of the outside noise when Russ was in Denver. He had his own office. He had 2 parking spots. He had this when he was in Seattle. Teammates had to call his guy to talk to him. That's not going to happen. You either in or you out. Which one? Make a decision. Yeah. And I can tell you that from being in that, like, there's only one decision. You in or you out. I guess that's 2 decisions. But if you're here, this is how we do it. Yeah. And if you're here, this is what we're going to do. And you do what the hell you want to do. You just can't do it here. And so I think that's the difference. And I think you're seeing a player who is more team-oriented. Guys can laugh and joke with him and do all of those things. Because if I can't come to you as a teammate, as a brother, and mess around and joke and have a good time, we ain't gonna it's not gonna be a good relationship.
Mike T said, man, there will be no slogans here. None at all. Just win, baby. Yeah. That's what he said.
Well, that's a different organization.
What about steal the hearts of Americans?
Yeah, nah. We don't need slogans.
I like what you did there with the wordplay.
Yeah.
But,
I'll be in Pittsburgh this weekend, fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah. My good friend Willie Parker is getting inducted into the Ring of Honor.
All right.
So
you gonna talk with Russ?
I don't know if I'll see Russ.
You should whisper in his ear, trust in Russ.
Yeah, nah, I'm not gonna bother him.
I've always been Russ in you.
Nah.
Yeah, no?
Just win, baby.
Okay.
Like you said.
Right. Yeah.
Go up to him.
It's a new one.
Spicy.
Oh, this is a different Russ.
Yeah, nah.
Okay.
Second down.
All right, can my Vikings make some noise in the playoffs given the way Sam Darnold has played?
No.
Damn right.
Okay.
Given
You tell me Minnesota.
The way he played.
He played. Yeah. Did you see the fourth quarter?
What quarter are we talking about?
Thank you.
Talking about that final drive, Carey. 2 great final drives back-to-back weeks.
What quarter are we talking about?
Carey, it's a 60-minute game.
Okay, it is.
You got to play the full 60.
Hey,
tell me
we're
that.
talking about fourth quarter, baby. Sam Darnold lets it cook.
Cool. When you play better teams, you don't usually get to that opportunity to get to the fourth quarter.
I'm sorry. Were the Arizona Cardinals not in first place?
Okay.
That's your team.
No, it was my team until Mr. Rivers talked to me so bad about this team that I said was going to win X number of games. You're like, they stink. And I was like, you know what? They kind of do stink. And then they kind of did get better, and then they stunk again. They stunk this weekend.
Well,
they played well. They should have actually won that game.
They should have won.
Hey.
Yeah, they were getting after it on defense.
Other players get paid to play.
They do.
You know?
You're right. You're not wrong. I'm with you when you're right.
Gannon made a crucial error in that game, too.
They beat the Bears the
Rich
week
Gannon?
before, too.
Not Gannon. Who am I thinking of? No,
Yeah,
Gannon. Jonathan Gannon.
Gannon.
You threw me off. You know why you got me on that? You did. You know why you got me on that? Because I always mix up the former Eagles coordinators,
Shane
Gannon
Steichen.
and Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
Shane Steichen's with Indy, Jonathan Gannon's with Arizona. But Gannon screwed up there. Instead of kicking the field goal to go up by 6, when they were down in deep in Minnesota territory, they should have went for the touchdown. Because if you're Kevin O'Connell, everything changes in that moment. You kick the field goal, you go up by 6. You give Kevin O'Connell the freedom to call whatever he wants because he knows he needs a touchdown now.
And Greg Olsen pointed that out.
Did he on the broadcast?
Yep.
When I went back and watched, I go, why would you kick the field goal in this spot?
I think it was a great decision.
Well, certainly because your Vikings won because Sam Darnold is dropping dimes on everybody. That's why I think he and the Vikings are going to make some noise in the playoffs. They're going to beat Tampa in Tampa, wild card weekend.
They'll beat Atlanta in Atlanta. Who's going to win the division?
Either way, I'll be happy for 1 week in January.
Yes, you will.
Yes.
Third down.
Speaking of the NFC South, is Bryce Young resurrecting his career? What has changed for the young man?
He looks like a different player. Like, if you look at the numbers aren't necessarily eye-popping. But did you see that throw he made to Adam Thielen to tie the game against Tampa?
Yeah.
He escapes the pocket, keeps his eyes downfield. Adam Thielen breaks away from the defense, and while on the run, Bryce Young throws a dime. There are some elements of, okay, yeah, this is why Carey, you and I both liked Bryce Young coming out of Alabama. He looks like a more confident player. And I think if anything, if you're a Panthers fan, you look at it and say, well, Dave Canales knows what he's doing. Like, he can work with a young quarterback. I don't know if he's a great head coach, but he's at least, him and Bryce Young kind of learning to work together, and Young looks more confident. So whatever happened in those weeks that settled him down, he looks significantly better. And the team is playing better too, which, believe it or not, it's not just all about the quarterback.
Yeah, he's taken care of the football the last few weeks. He hasn't thrown an interception, I think, since that New Orleans Saints game, and so, which was 4 games ago. He's taking care of the football. Now, they've lost the last 2 games, but they lost to the Chiefs by 3 points. They fought and competed that entire game. They lost last week against the Buccaneers, but he is, again, by another 3 points. He is playing better.
Yeah.
And once there's a point where the game starts to slow down for you. Like, it's so hard to really explain, but it feels like sometimes when you're a younger player, it could feel like it's 14 people on defense. Like, it's only 11, but every time you look up, it's someone there in a space. He wasn't just there. They got to have too many people on the field. But as you get older, you start to process things faster, and the game starts to slow down. And I think he's at the point now where it's starting to slow down. They're leaning on Chuba Hubbard, and he's running the ball really well. He signed a contract extension. Like, they're doing some things that are allowing him to slow the game down and have more success.
I think they'll win this week.
Not against the Eagles?
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I don't think so.
Fourth down.
All right, Anthony, I know you've been wanting to talk about this guy for more than a minute.
Go ahead.
What has happened for the Falcons? What has to happen for the Falcons to make a quarterback change?
So I was thinking about this earlier. There's no way that Raheem Morris was going to start Michael Penix Jr. in Minnesota against Brian Flores' defense.
Are they good?
Very good.
Okay.
not a great spot. On the road against a soon-to-be 11-2 Vikings team.
I don't like the way you talk.
So you let Kirky have his moment in Minnesota. He can't move or throw the ball more than 2 feet. Let him get his rear end handed to him. Let him have his moment in Minnesota. And then you start Penix against the Raiders next week.
Can I tell you what's going to happen?
What?
Kirk Cousins is going to throw for 387, 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception, and they're going to win by 6.
There's no way.
I'm telling you.
I think that he's going to he's going to do that. He will. And he's either going to throw an interception at the end of the game, or Younghoe Koo is going to miss a field goal.
That's good. That's
to tie the game and or win it.
Honestly, it's all in play. It's unless you're Carey and you're spitting that garbage about the Falcons winning. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. The Gauntlet. Returning Gauntlet contestant again. Round 3 next on 101 ESPN.
warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome back for a third straight show. It's Nathan. What's up, Nathan?
Not much. Just ready to do this.
Okay, you seem a little more serious today. I don't know if I like that. I feel like in the third round here, you have ratcheted up the urgency.
Yeah. Jamie helped. He kind of got Marsh stirred up, so I'm going to take on Marsh.
Whoa. Marsh is up now. Wow.
Maybe Jamie got into his head about the Parayko Broberg.
Okay.
I'm still not ruling it out, though. I'm hoping that we see him tonight.
I'd like to see it. Me too. I'm with you.
All right. There you go. So let's do this. Nathan, tell Marsh to spin the wheel, and we'll tell him to get the hell out of here.
All right, Marsh, you spin that wheel again.
All right, Marsh, get the hell out of here. Please.
Beat it.
Nathan, I believe that you said anything but random, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's see what that says.
Oh.
What do we got, Carey?
We have a problem.
Do we not have what we need?
We don't have the category that was chosen.
We don't have it in there?
Nope.
Are you sure? Nathan, it's your call. What do you want?
Well, he doesn't know what category it was.
Oh.
It was.
That would help. Well, he doesn't want random.
It was random.
It was random.
Yeah,
we don't have it.
We don't have random, so you choose.
You choose, Nathan. That's how this works. We don't do our job, then it benefits the listener.
Yeah, let's do hockey. Let's see.
Do that hockey.
Ooh, Marsh is pretty good at hockey.
I know.
But is hockey your best sport?
It might be.
Okay, all right. Well, let's see how you do here. Hockey.
Yeah.
4 hockey questions, all worth 2 points, unless you ask for the options, of course. If you ask for the options, then that question is worth 1 point. Nathan, are you ready?
Yes.
Question 1. Since the beginning of this decade, January 1st, 2020, to now, which player has scored the most goals in the NHL? So from January 1st, 2020 to now, who has scored the most goals in the National Hockey League?
Austin Matthews. Final answer.
Question number 2. Since the Blues won the Stanley Cup, which player leads the team in goals?
Braden Shen. Final answer.
All right, Nathan. Third question. Blues head coach Jim Montgomery was drafted by which NHL team?
Give me the options on that one.
Undrafted, St. Louis Blues, San Jose Sharks.
He's undrafted.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Question number 4. Montgomery only won 1 playoff series in his time in Boston. Which team did his Bruins defeat in the playoffs last season?
Toronto Maple Leafs. Final answer.
All right. Marsh is going to come back in. Nathan, how you feeling?
All right. We're okay.
Okay. All right. I don't feel like he's telling the truth, Gary.
I don't know.
He's
Nathan
weird today.
has
Nathan's weird today. I don't like
a vibe about him that screams, I do this, and you all are.
Yeah.
Good luck to you all.
I don't like what I just walked into. What's going on?
Well, Nathan's been weird.
Pack a lunch.
Yeah, he said it. He did.
Is it random?
Well,
yes.
So here's the thing. It was random. However, we didn't have random.
Are you serious?
So we let Nathan choose what he wanted.
Oh, no.
And he chose. Well, if you were to choose, Marshy, what would you choose?
Probably hockey.
Well, there you go. We got hockey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that hockey.
All right.
All right, Marsh, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Question 1. Since the beginning of this decade, which is January 1st, 2020, to now, which player has scored the most goals in the NHL?
The most goals, you say?
Yeah, so from January 1st, 2020 to now, which player has scored the most goals in the NHL?
I'm going to say Nikita Kucherov. Final answer.
Question number 2. Since the Blues won the Stanley Cup, which player leads the team in goals?
Since the Blues have won the Stanley Cup, which player? I'm going to shoot from the hip. Let's go with Braden Shen. Final answer. It's probably wrong.
All right, Marsh, question 3. Blues head coach Jim Montgomery was drafted by which NHL team?
I think it was the Blues. Played for the Blues. I'll go with the Blues. Final answer.
Final question. Montgomery only won one playoff series in his time in Boston. Which team did his Bruins defeat in the playoffs last season?
That was the Toronto Maple Leafs. Final answer.
All right, let's go over these. Let's start right there. Montgomery only won one playoff series in his time in Boston. Which team did his Bruins defeat in the playoffs last season? Nathan, you went with Toronto. Marsh, you went with Toronto. Correct answer is
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Neither of you used the option, so we got a 2-2 tie. Since the Blues won the Stanley Cup, which player leads the team in goals? Neither of you used the options. Marsh, you went with Braden Shen. Nathan, you went with Braden Shen. Correct answer is
Braden Shen was an option, but it was Jordan Kyrou.
Jordan Kyrou is the correct answer. Jordan Kyrou, 120 goals. Braden Shen, 110.
Yeah, Kyrou's the obvious answer, so I wanted to take the Anthony Stalter approach. I'm sure Nathan did the same thing. I'm glad we were on the same wavelength.
Yes.
So we still got a 2-2 tie. Blues head coach Jim Montgomery was drafted by which NHL team? Marsh, you went with the St. Louis Blues. Nathan, you went undrafted.
Oh.
Correct answer is
it is undrafted.
Undrafted.
What the?
Nathan asked for the options. Yeah. He asked for the options on that one. It was a trick question. Nathan said undrafted, though, of those options.
Yeah.
He gets 1 point. So Nathan has a 3-2 lead over Andrew Marsh. It comes down to this. Since the beginning of this decade, which somebody pointed out in the snake pit is actually, the decade apparently begins in 2021.
Well, somebody on the text line didn't hear it and thought you said beginning of the century, and they put that's 2000. So
yeah, no,
2020. No, it'd be 2020. That's like saying 2001 is the beginning of the 21st century.
Hey, I don't know. Yeah, Since the beginning of this decade, I'm just going to read the question as is, Ron Burgundy style. Since the beginning of this decade, January 1st, 2020, to now, which player has scored the most goals in the NHL? Nathan has a 3-2 lead. This is the last question. Neither of you used the options. Marsh, you went with Nikita Kucherov as your answer. If it's Nikita Kucherov, Marsh wins because Nathan went with Austin Matthews. If it's Austin Matthews or any player that played in the NHL and scored a fast lane bunch of goals from January 1st, 2020 to now, then Nathan will advance.
That's a good answer.
To the Gauntlet Championship tomorrow. So, Carey, which player has scored the most goals in the NHL from January 1st, 2020 till now?
Austin Matthews. Nathan.
You have chosen wisely.
Austin Matthews has scored 235 goals since that point. Nathan got that right without the options, and now Nathan beats Marsh 5-2 in hockey, and he will advance to tomorrow's title game.
Good job, Nathan.
Nice job, Nathan.
Thank you.
Good job.
You're way too serious today.
I didn't like the vibe when I walked in.
He told you to pack a lunch.
Yeah, I didn't like that. And he was right. I've been flustered all day ever since Jamie told us that Philip Broberg and Colton Parayko weren't playing with each other tonight. And
Jamie is useful.
I'm still holding out hope. What did he say?
Because Jamie is useful. Wow. All right, Nathan, we'll call you back tomorrow, man.
All right, sounds great.
All right, buddy. See ya.
All right, bye.
We need to get to the bottom of this because we are getting texts about the decade. Because someone says 2020 to 2029 is 10 years. That is a decade, correct?
Yeah.
Because then the following year would be 2030 to 2039. But then some people are saying there is no year zero.
What?
Yeah. A decade is 1 to 10.
I hate to say this because it just sounds so dismissive, but I'm just going to be honest. I don't care. Who has scored the most goals since January 1st, 2020 until now? And it's Austin Matthews with 235.
Well, Anthony, if we knew what the time, right? Maybe it's a different gauntlet, you know?
Right.
No, that's just wrong. No, it's 2000 to 2009, 2010 to 2019, and 2020 to 2029, and so on and so forth.
I agree.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is we might not. And MD 2020 is really taking us to the woodshed, by the way, the Snake Pit. He goes, you guys can't even get the questions for all the categories, and now you're going to debate. When the decade started, there's a couple other shots that have already, have scrolled up. MD 2020 is not a fan of the fast lane right now. Not happy with the way the gauntlet is unraveled here.
That's 2 times now in the past 2 weeks.
So
that we have not had a question sheet for a certain topic.
They should be happy Jamie isn't here because somebody would be fired at this point.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
This is unbelievable.
I think we learned a couple of things.
Yeah, what did we learn?
Nathan might not be a good guy because
that was my first thought.
A good guy.
That was my first thought. When Nathan was like, yeah, okay, cool, we'll see you tomorrow. I go, you're not a good person. You're just not. Because Marsh only beats good guys.
He only beats good guys.
So I don't know who's right now locked up in Nathan's basement. But there's somebody there. And I don't know how long he's been there.
Oh.
That's number 1. Number 2, we better get the sheets tomorrow.
All of them.
Because all the categories need to be there.
And random.
Yeah.
If you're listening.
Or you forget both.
Who's going to pick
responsible?
It's me.
It's him. Jamie's not
qualified for this.
Yeah, he's not here.
Jamie essentially already lost when Alex lost.
Yeah.
Alex stepped in for Jamie. He was sitting in his chair that day.
Is Mike Ryder still here?
Yes.
Yeah. Because the second thing I was going to tell you is you got to go to the penalty box.
Yeah. Oh, no. I think this is only the second time, too.
Oh, crap.
But yes,
oh, no, Tanner's coming in. We get T-Bone on the fast lane.
T-Bone.
I like this reaction better than my show.
So you know what? Just special for T-Bone. Why don't we talk a little baseball?
Oh, hell yeah.
Who whiffed more during Arenado's tenure? Was it him or the Cardinals front office? That's next on 101 ESPN. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Our guy Andrew Marsh is in the penalty box.
What'd you say? How's it going back there?
I have no idea what you just said.
It's hard to hear, isn't it?
I can't hear it. I can't hear a thing.
I know.
I can't. I
actually
can
can't
barely hear myself.
Yeah.
I can. There it is.
You got yours?
Yeah. There's a black knob there.
Yeah, it's all the way up.
Testing 1 2.
Turn it up higher.
3 4.
Turn it up, Chris.
I'm about to.
Yep.
Warm it up, Chris.
Warm it up.
Come
That's
on.
what it is.
Come on.
What the heck's that in reference to?
That's crisscross.
Really?
Oh, Tanner. Yeah, Tanner. Tanner's got no
we do
shot.
a lot of
If
music
there's
in here.
anything about my show, I'm an uncultured swine.
We do a lot of music in here.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know any bands.
Usually we get it wrong, but we do.
I
a lot of music.
almost always get it wrong.
So Andrew Marsh is in the penalty box for losing in the Gauntlet, which means T-Bone of the T-Bone Show.
I like that.
Right here on 101 ESPN. Hey, it's the T-Bone Show today.
So much better.
Yeah. He's running things for us. So we thought maybe we'll do some baseball here. And Marsh pitched the idea of, so with Nolan Arenado, if we assume that this era for him of Cardinals baseball is done, who if more, Arenado or the front office? I think the answer is kind of a layup, but T-Bone, since you're the guest speaker, what's your thought?
I don't even get to go first on my own show either. Very often.
We treat you better here.
Wow, this is great. For me, I know a lot of people are going to look at the front office. For me, I am now pushing towards Nolan Arenado as someone that I would put the blame game on, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is I think in 21 and 22, it's fair to question the front office and some of their decision making. But in 2021, go back to that trade deadline, right? They weren't really buyers. They brought in Lester. They brought in my favorite, personal favorite, Wade LeBlanc. But they brought in those three lefties, and it was more of, hey, we've just got to eat innings because our minor league system sucks. So we don't have pitchers that we can just call up and trade pieces off. We've got to bring in people to just stabilize. They do. So I don't blame them for not adding significant pieces to it. 2022, totally fair. They should have added significantly to that roster. But in part of their defense, they didn't have that third impact bat yet, right? Because Pujols doesn't take off till post-All-Star break a little bit. You've only seen a week or two of it by the time you get to the trade deadline. So I kind of get it, but that's the team I would have invested in. 2023-ish happens, right? It's a bleep show.
Yeah.
But Arenado's a part of that, right? Arenado kind of tails off after an MVP-esque season. And then, and this is why I really point the finger at him here, is he goes into that offseason saying we need leadership in our locker room, right? We need leadership. That was all they talked about. So what do? Well, we got to keep the star happy, right? Arenado's got to be happy. So let's go out. Let's get veteran guys in Gibson and Lynn. Let's bring in a Matt Carpenter who's clearly going to create a logjam on our roster, which happened. So then I look at that and I go, okay, well, then Arenado better live up to his end, right? We got him all as veterans. He's got to be happy. Has another down year, worse than in 2023, is a league average offensive player making $30 million. So I look at that and I say, hey, that team last year should have been able to take off. Last year should have been the rebound year, and you don't get the production you need from MVP-esque player Nolan Arenado. So I would say after the last 2 years, I'm pointing the finger more at him.
See, for me, it is the front office. I think, T-Bone, you bring up tremendous points. If anything, it does go to show you that you can't just make a trade and fix everything.
Yeah.
It's a team. And I think the point that you made was well made about the trade deadlines. How about let's talk about the off seasons. You add Wilson Contreras, kick up your feet, you're done. How many off seasons did you do? Not even that. You did the bare minimum.
You got to be kidding me. They did something last offseason. They brought in 2 starters. You guys are ridiculous.
Like I said, the front office, after making the Arenado deal, they kicked up their feet and they said, we good. We're done. We don't have to do anything. You have to build a team. It's like the Jets acquiring Aaron Rodgers and going, hey, we're good.
Well, they only needed a quarterback, Anthony.
You're never one player away.
No, but they got that wide receiver, that one guy.
Randall Cobb?
No,
the other
Adams.
one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which
that one.
former Packer would
Aaron
you like
Rodgers'
to bring?
best friend.
Any of them. Alan Lazard, actually.
Alan Lazard. I forgot about Alan Lazard.
Hey, they recreated that Packers team.
They did.
That missed the playoffs.
They should have brought in Aaron Jones. Yeah, so for me, it's the front office. But, Carey?
I think I think it is. Well, I can't blame the front office because I think you know me, I put it on players. And I think the players that they had in the positions, you thought you would get more from Jordan Walker. You thought, Tommy Edman would be healthy. He was not. You thought you would have some players in places. You thought Lars Nootbaar would be healthy. He was injured often last year. You thought Paul Goldschmidt was going to perform better. And you thought Nolan Arenado was going to perform better. So I think the front office, in their mind, you're talking about kicking their feet up. They went and got 2 pitchers to fill a need, and they thought that offensively they would be much better than they were last year. And they weren't. And that's because your 2 corner infield spots weren't good enough. They didn't do a good enough job. And I think if you were to ask them and give them some truth serum, they would say, yeah, we're better than what we played last year. I'll show you next year that we were. I think it's on the players. I think Nolan Arenado didn't play well enough. I think 2022, he finished 3rd in MVP voting. That was a great season. 2023, the entire team did not perform at a good enough level, and they lost 91 games. Was it 91, 93 games? They lost.
I try to forget.
I do too.
Yeah.
They lost a lot of games.
Doesn't matter.
And then this year, you kind of, if we were talking about putting Nolan, bat him 6th, bat him 7th. Don't put him in. He shouldn't be batting any higher than 6th because he wasn't performing well enough. So for me, it's on the player to do their job and have success. And if you don't show up in those times, it doesn't matter who it is. You're not gonna be a good team.
Before Marsh gives us his answer from the penalty box, we're still taking your mic drops. What do you think of Jim Montgomery's Blues team thus far? Do you need more time? Do you feel like it's a different unit? Do you feel like some of the same problems are still there? Leave us a mic drop via the Schiffer Door Company 101 ESPN mobile app.
I do think it's on Arenado to a degree. I really like what Tanner said about the different years being, okay, one or 2 years being on the front office, the next couple of years being on Nolan Arenado. Like, obviously the production hasn't been there these past few years, and that's on him. But I don't necessarily know if the front office, if we're talking about this tenure as a whole, I don't know if the front office set this team up for success. Because even if Arenado was better than he was the past couple of seasons, the team still isn't a playoff team. Mm-hmm. They're not good enough, because there's other guys on the field that have to step up and do their job. But overall, it's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. Like, he came here to be on a playoff team, and he was for a couple of years, but at the end of the day, the team just wasn't good enough, and that's exactly why they're in the position they are right now. And I think they have to move on from him.
My question, too, to you guys is, how would you assess Arenado's 2021 season? Right? Because I've mentioned 3 years of him. Last year, very disappointing. Mm-hmm. Year prior, 2023, down year compared to 2022. 2022 MVPS season. How would you look at the 2021 season from Nolan Arenado?
That was a year that they lost to
Dodgers in the
wild card round.
Yeah. And he had whatever it was, 17-game win streak to get in.
Yeah. He was fine. I don't think we saw the decline until after the MVP season.
And you give those players like a first-year pass.
Yeah.
Like, new team. We'll give them a pass just because,
Historically, first-time Cardinals have struggled. Jason Hayward, it took a month and a half, and then he ripped the cover off the ball. Paul Goldschmidt took almost, I think, until 2 months into his St. Louis tenure, and then he got going. So I think and there's other examples too. Mm-hmm. But I think that Marsh is right. You give him a little bit of time. I remember him hitting the home run, the home opener, but I thought that season was fine. 2022 was his best, and then we just seen a steep decline.
And the reason I asked that question to you guys is because when I think of that 2021 season, though he was good, it wasn't good on Arenado standards.
Yeah.
Right? When you got Arenado, you thought you were getting an MVP candidate, and you didn't see that until 2022. And maybe some of that was first year at a new spot.
Sure.
Now I kind of wonder if, remember, he dealt with an injury in 2020. Rockies placed him on the IL. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he dealt with an injury.
Right.
I kind of wonder if you got the damaged goods from Colorado.
You may, yeah.
And the other reason I bring up that 2021 season is I said, sure, the front office was in a spot to where they couldn't do significant adding to that roster, and I truly believe that. Well, you know why you're in that spot? General manager, I think Doug Armstrong said this 2 years ago. The team, the players are the ones that dictate how much of a buyer or a seller I am at the deadline. Well, 3 or 4 years, even that 2022 season, they were pretty good that year. But they didn't put themselves in a spot still as the players to say, hey, Mo, we need significant reinforcements here. Mm-hmm. And that's why though there is fault on Mo, I'm not trying to act like he's not to blame in some of this. I don't look at it as much as, hey, Arenado, he didn't do his part here in 3 of the 4 years he was a Cardinal.
I was just about to say that 314 says Arenado only performed to his contract one season.
Yeah.
And that would be, in your opinion, the 22 season.
Yep.
I mean.
Good thing it only cost you Austin Gomber.
Well, yeah.
And whatever else was there.
Good thing it only cost you Austin Gomber, right?
And they actually paid you to take him.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Still are. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Nice job, T-Bone. We appreciate you filling in there. Marsh is going to come out of the penalty box now. And
no, it's fine. I'm going to go.
No, you're here, Marsh.
Okay.
You're here for the rest
come
of the
on
show.
back.
All right, because you got mic drops to play. What are your thoughts on Jim Montgomery thus far? Do you see a different Blues team? We'll talk about it next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues take on the Winnipeg Jets tonight. You can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We'll talk with Joe Vitale at 5 o'clock. So in about 20 minutes, we'll talk with Joe. So stay tuned for that. If you miss anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Schaefer Door Company 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page, and you can check out all the interviews and all of our full shows, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We're going to dive into some of the mic drops sent in, talking about your St. Louis Blues and your thoughts on Jim Montgomery after his first 3 games as Blues head coach. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Reunited and it feels so good. Let's go Blues!
All right, that was from Cody. Set of pipes on Cody, that's for sure. What do you think of Jim Montgomery's Blues? I know it's only been 3 games, but we don't care. 3 games.
I love the honesty around here.
Yeah.
You know?
Evaluate these Blues after 3 games under Jim Montgomery. I think they look like a completely different team.
Do you?
A better team. One that knows what the hell it's doing.
Can I reserve my judgment for one more game?
Yes, you can.
I'll let you know after tonight.
All right.
Because, you know, first 2 games, I was thrilled. Like, these guys are, look at the energy on these guys. These guys are sticking together. They're not letting one person go into the fight. They're all there. You got 3, we got 4. You got 5, we got 6. I know it's too many people on the ice, so what? I got goalies walking past each other, mean mugging each other, and like, hey, we're here. And then Marshy depressed me over the weekend with his text messages about the game.
Oh, imagine being there.
And the energy and the lack of cohesion. And the only person that he said was showing up and showing out was Jordan Bennington. He played his butt off. He helped him get at least a point. But everybody else was like, new coach, Buzz kind of buzzed away. So I'll let you know after tonight.
Oh, and Andrew Marsh is going to the game tonight? I think we take it down a notch just to irritate the living crap out of him.
Yeah.
You really think that's what Monty said to his team?
No, I think that, no.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe, though. Maybe. That's how it felt. That's how I felt when I was watching those passes go right off the tape.
That's fair. And your feelings are
right
valid.
into the skates.
And we were listening. Jamie was on earlier, and he was talking. He was at morning skate today, and he said Jim Montgomery stopped them at practice because of the passes, because of some of the things that they weren't like. If that's who you are, I know we've talked about this, and this is the thing that drives me crazy in life with fandom. Like I love fans. I am a fan of certain teams.
I feel like you're going to put all of us down now.
Well, no, I just, definitely the Dodgers. I mean, if you're a smart person, you cheer for the Dodgers. But either way, the thing that bothers me is, we get so excited. Oh, we fired Berube. We won the Stanley Cup. The Phillies fired their manager. They went to the World Series. That's not how it always happens. People get fired because teams stink. Like, you think the Bears are going to go to the Super Bowl now that they fired their coach? Hell no.
No, they're too far behind.
Well,
it's a tough division. Tony just ripped me a new one on
spelled your name wrong.
Really, Stalter? I think that's me.
Stalter.
So when they got outshot 12-1 against the Devils, they looked like the same old Blues. Well, here's the thing, Tony. They didn't lose 8-1. They won that game.
Anthony Stalter.
Yeah.
Sounds like a new
drink.
It does sound like a drink.
Like a Stalter.
They didn't lose 8-1 again. I thought they won that game. And I thought it was all about wins and losses.
What's about
Tony
how you
Lopopo.
It's about how you look.
They look different to me. It's my opinion. All right? Now, if you prefer the Blues that get drubbed 8-1, then that's on you, Tone. Not on me. I want my Blues to win.
Refreshed by Stalter's Seltzers.
There you go.
That's right. Yeah.
I like that.
Sorry I had to yell, Tony, but you're talking just pure nonsense right now.
That's it. 3 games. Give me 4, 5. Give me a handful at least.
Yeah.
Let's see if they show up with some energy tonight. Let's see if they can go, play hard in the first period and in the third period.
Mm-hmm.
Preferably in the second period as well. But that's kind of
that'd be a
full game.
Don't push it. We got a mic drop from Buzz on this.
No, not Buzz.
Yeah, we got one from Buzz.
No, Bud.
Oh, Bud.
I guess it could be the same thing.
It was almost obvious from the puck drop of the first game that this team was different.
Thank you, Bud.
I think that Jamie said it best. They just skated with a little pep in their step. They played great in that one loss. I think they got back to a little of their same bad habits of skating around with the puck and passing and not shooting as much, period. But that was a great Flyers team that really clogged up the middle. I'm really curious to see what they're going to look like tonight, but all in all, I think Montgomery is exactly what this Blues team needed.
So Bud totally does
voice to text.
Yeah, but
period.
Yeah,
that's what that was.
But some people, when they make a statement,
period.
People will say period.
Yeah.
Which is like, kind of like a snap, like right on.
If the Philadelphia, he said Philadelphia was a good team.
Yeah.
I think Winnipeg is a little bit better.
Well, let's see tonight how good they are.
Let's see.
No, they're really good.
They're a good team. You know what, though?
They've actually struggled a little bit recently.
When you look at the standings,
yeah.
When you look at the standings, the Wild are above them. They're above them. Now they have the same amount of points.
But still.
But if they were better, they were good.
Yeah.
They'd be above the Wild. You know?
That's a great point.
So
absolutely.
If Jordan Carey would have scored a hat trick in the first night, we'd be a different team.
Yeah. We wouldn't even be sitting here talking about this.
Winnipeg 6-4 of their last 10 at home, but they are 5-5 over the last 10 overall. You shrink that down a little bit, though, guys. This Winnipeg team is they're 2-1 over the last 3, so they're playing good hockey.
How'd those Blue Bombers do in the Grey Cup?
Not well. Not well. Just like the Jets aren't going to do well tonight.
Not at all.
Or on Sunday, probably. Let's be honest.
Definitely not on Sunday.
Yeah. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got our Sports Six-Pack coming up next. So 314-399-9646. If you got a Sports Six-Pack question, send it in. We'll answer them next.
time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
Sometimes we come back too early. By the way, I was totally looking at the wrong stats for the old Winnipeg Jets, guys. Remember I was saying, I'm like, oh, they're struggling. And I was looking at different stats, and I'm like, oh, no, they're not. No, they definitely are. Let me get you those stats, Marsh, because I know you care. The Winnipeg Jets, over their last 10 games, boys, we are not dealing with the juggernaut. They're 4-6 over their last 10.
Oh, wow.
Got a
They're
chance.
1-4 over their last 5.
Got a chance.
And they're 0 for gopher in their last 3.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
They're due.
What
the loss?
Oh,
there you go. Okay.
Another one.
Yeah,
Good
I
job,
like it.
Marshy.
Thanks for providing those stats.
You're welcome, Marsh.
Well, there could have been a lot of people driving around thinking, man, Winnipeg's, they're doing okay now. But then, they come into the game and all of a sudden they stink.
They're like the Lakers. I'm sorry, that was personal for me.
Oh, I do it all the time.
10 points.
Yeah. Nope.
10 damn points.
I do it all the time. It's kind of my thing. It's how you feel in that moment, and you take shots. All right. It's called projecting.
Yeah, I did that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
It's amazing that one man that wears the number 18 can just ruin your entire
season.
Yeah.
Yep. And I know he won those Bucks games on purpose.
Just to give you a little bit of faith.
You were so happy.
I was so happy.
You were.
I was fired up.
You were.
Yeah.
I'm
like, you know what, guys? He's not that bad. Yeah. No,
overtime against the Bucks.
He did it exactly.
Touchdown.
Yeah. No.
Swag surf. The stadium. And then Kirk says, "No. Let me show you who I am."
Exactly. And you knew it. It's me. When he revealed the mask, it was actually still him.
The trap that he was actually talking about is the one that he set for you.
Walk in your trap, take over your trap.
100%.
Yeah, you walked right into my trap.
I certainly did.
$200 million again.
Yeah.
You fell through the floor.
Pay the man. Pay him, Anthony.
No, not my money, fortunately. Go ahead, Marsh.
Question number 1.
From the 636.
Cater Anthony Statler. Go ahead, Marsh. That was good, Gator.
The 636 wants to know, do you think that Luther Burden will be a first-round pick or a second-round pick? What team do you think will draft him?
I think he will be a first-round pick.
Yeah, he's been mocked.
Like top 10.
Top 10 pick.
Yep.
Yeah. I forget which team it was.
There will always be teams that are wide receiver hungry because they don't realize that football's won in the trenches.
Well, Anthony?
Yes.
You're right.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Would be a 49er. Happy birthday to Tanisha, too, from the Snake Pit. Happy birthday, Tanisha, a 49ers fan. You're going to get Luther Burden.
I don't think he's going to
first round.
They got enough.
Also, Christian McCaffrey was just placed on season-ending.
The PCL.
Yeah.
Bad. This one has him going to the Washington Commanders.
Ooh. We'll play with Scary Terry McLaurin, and Jaden Daniels.
I think that's a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question number 2.
Droid FX was the Bengals will draft them. That's true. They love wide receivers.
They will.
And they got to replace T. Higgins, you know?
They better draft the damn offensive lineman and stop it.
No kidding.
Question number 2 comes from Grant Francis Fan Club. What are some of the best/weirdest texts you've gotten that were clearly meant for someone other than the 101 text line?
We got one today about a final, and if you got a 84%, you do well. You get a 78% on the final, or 84% is even better. That came in today on the text line.
There have been many times where we've gotten like, I'm just stopping. I'm just going to stop at the grocery store, then I'll be home.
Yeah.
I usually respond like, okay, thanks. Pick me up something.
There was a really sweet one time, though, where there was a parent clearly thought they were texting a child, like a teenager, in high school. Yeah. Like, hey, you're going to do great today. Like, it's total positive. You're going to do great today.
At the soccer game.
Can't wait to see you play, this, that, and the other thing. We're like, hey, we're all jerks here, but that was really nice. You sent that to us. We want to make sure that you get that to your kid. But other than that, like sometimes we'll get texts for other shows. Like we got one last week for TMA.
Yeah, I think we got one today.
We got one today for TMA.
Yeah. It was inappropriate for sure.
We got one for a different show a couple weeks ago.
Can't read that one.
I remember one time we got one about someone picking up their dog. I don't know if you remember that. It was a couple years ago, and we definitely had to respond. Otherwise, that dog would probably still be there.
That's true. And I guess sometimes we have like a personal responsibility to text these people back.
To let them know.
Yep.
From the 636, heading to the gas station. Need anything?
That's all we're going to get now. All right. Well, we got to get to our guy, Joe Vitale, who's going to join us next. We'll talk a little Blues hockey with him. Maybe we'll talk to him about whether or not we will see Broberg and Parayko tonight paired up together. Sounds like we won't, according to Jamie, the Dream Buster. But we'll get Joe's take next on 101 ESPN. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN, where it's 5:01. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's head to the Thompson and Collier phone line, where our guy Joe Vitale is in St. Louis. He's doing a little TV work tonight. He's on the he's not on the Canadian road trip. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's up, boys? Yeah, I'm missing this road trip. I'm not complaining. My wife certainly is not complaining. Missing this 11-day roadie through Canada in the middle of winter.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that one. I was going to ask if you missed if you missed out on the Canadian road trip, but let's be honest, you don't.
Nothing I love about it. I'm not a fan of Canada in general. I'll be honest with you guys. It's cold. It's just I don't know. I've been doing this thing too long as a player and broadcaster. It's just snowing. Last time I was in Winnipeg last year, I think it was like April, and we're walking around. It's just snow everywhere, obviously. And I went into a Tim Hortons up there to get some donuts and a coffee, and I just small talking with, I guess you can call them baristas, but the checkout guy at Tim Hortons, and I said, "Wow, just snow recently?" He's like, "Oh no, that snow's from about a month and a half ago." Well, there you go. You picked a heck of a city to live in.
Oh, man. Yeah, right. Like, oh, thank you. I'm never going to live here. I appreciate you. Joe Vitale here in the Fast Line on 101 at ESPN. Joe, we saw that earlier today. Some of the pairings looked interesting, some of the line combinations, but how much can you tell us about whether or not we will see, for example, a defensive pairing that's got everybody kind of excited of Colton Parayko and Broberg?
Yeah, I think that right now, a couple things I'll say. To start out with the forwards, the one I really am intrigued by is going to be Brandon Saad, who's going to be at the offensive position with Robert Thomas and Jake Neighbors. He's going to be inserted in that top trio, and I think for him, he can really get going. I think that he's gotten 2 games this year with multiple goals. He's only got 4 goals on the year. 2 came in Buffalo, and then 2 came against this Jets team on home ice when they lost. And they need Brandon Saad to get going. He's a veteran player. He understands the importance of this month. And they need number 20 to get rocking and rolling. So he's going to replace Alexander Texier at that top line with obviously the playmaker and Robert Thomas, and maybe one of the hottest 6 right now on the team, and Jake Neighbors. And then, from that top pair tonight, I think we will see at some point whether they start with it or evolve to it. It's something they've been wanting to get to for a little while. They couldn't really get to it because of the Broberg injury, but and then him and Falk were so good. Broberg and Falk were so good even when they were healthy. They couldn't break up that middle pair. And I think the Falk and Broberg has fallen off a little bit. I think the Parayko and Suter is starting to mellow out. I think you're seeing Suter as a 39-year-old defenseman, the oldest player in the National Hockey League right now. That they're running this horse almost to death. I mean, the way he's been playing 24, 25, sometimes 26 minutes a night. Well, on the last road trip I was on, guys, he played a game. He played about 30 minutes. I think it was the Boston Bruins game. So as a 39-year-old, he can't pull the weight like that all the time. And at times, I think his game slips a little bit. So, I do think we're going to see Broberg and Colton Parayko here for a little bit, which is a really exciting pair in my mind because, with Broberg, he is Justin Falk told me once is kind of a little bit of a reckless cowboy when he plays. He just jumps up. He's so young and sometimes a little bit naive, which is a good thing for a young player where they take the chances they take. And you can do that as long as you have a great safety valve. And I think Colton Parayko, so responsible on the back end, will set this up to be a really nice combination tonight.
Joey, I know that the lines can change and shift throughout the entire game. Are you surprised, or do you ever expect Zachary Bolduc to start getting those top 6 minutes? We've talked about how talented he is. Do you think he deserves more time on ice because of his shot?
Yeah, absolutely, Carey. I mean, listen, I think that you're looking at a player who needs to continue to prove himself. Because the reality is, I mean, right now, who are you going to replace in that top 6? Just ahead of him right now is Jordan Kyrou on that second line on the wing, and then you got Dylan Holloway, who's got goals in back-to-back games. So rightfully so, those two belong there. And then I think that, Jake Neighbors obviously has cemented himself in the top 6. The only player I can see Zachary Bolduc potentially getting a replacement for is going to be on that winger with the Robert Thomas line. Right now, like I mentioned, it's going to be Brandon Saad to start the game. But yes, Zachary Bolduc can certainly fill in there and replace a Brandon Saad. But it's going to have to continue to be earned from a young player, not only from the chances and the goals, but just to play away from the puck, defensively being responsible. He's got to get to his game as close to it anyway, the way he played against that New York Rangers group last week. Of course, he had the 2 goals, but even before the goals, Curbs and I were calling the game at Madison Square Garden, and we're just admiring the way he was playing, the way he was hustling, the way he was recovering. Even when he was losing pucks, he was retrieving them. The way he was forechecking. I mean, those are all the little things coaches look for to say, hey, this kid's on tonight. Let's give him a little love. Let's give him a bump up to a top line and see what he can produce. So it's really up to him to take advantage of the opportunity on bottom six and then to continue to move up in the lineup. And I think that, a player that did this better than anyone in recent history was Ivan Barbashev. When he came into the Blues from the minors, he started out on the fourth line. He eventually worked his way up to a third line. And then before you know it, when the Blues ended up trading him, he's now on the top line for the Vegas Golden Knights and the two-time Stanley Cup champion. So it does take time. He's got a bunch of skill, but it is about earning more and more trust in his coaching staff, playing the right way as a bottom six to eventually get yourself into a top six position.
Joe Vitale joins us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Joe, Jamie was talking about this earlier with the change in head coaching. He has seen a different Jordan Kyrou with under Montgomery. Do you also see the same Kyrou that played a couple of years ago when Montgomery was here? Do you see a different version of him?
I do. I think Jordan is always been a big fan of Jim Montgomery. I think when we lost Jim Montgomery, a comment that I received from one of the players, this was the following year when he was the first year as the head coach of the Boston Bruins. The Blues were struggling under Craig Berube, and I remember one of the players saying, this is where you miss Monty. And I said, in what way? And he said, well, when things are bad on the bench and temperatures are rising, Monty was so good about just going down the bench and really reasoning and talking to the players. And that's what they ended up losing there for a couple of years when he vacated. And now that he's back, I think that Monty has a gift to be doing a really good job of communicating to young players, knowing when they need a bump, knowing when they need some love, knowing when they need a hug, right? You just got to figure out the best way to communicate to these young players. And I agree with Jamie. I do think we have seen a much more consistent version of Jordan Kyrou. And even before Monty got here, I think Jordan's certainly been playing really good hockey. I mean, you look at the numbers, the kid's got 65 attempts at the net in the last 11 games. I mean, 65 attempts in the last 11 games, that's ridiculous. So he is getting pucks here. He's only got a couple goals to show for it, but the attempts are coming. He is finding the offense, and I think he's been managing the puck a lot better too. He is any day now, I think, from truthfully breaking out. And you look at, what about the conversation or what about the communication is so good? Well, listen, go back to that last game. They lose that game to the Philadelphia Flyers in overtime. Robert Thomas turns that puck over at the offensive blue line, and Michkov, their rookie, comes down, ends it right on home ice. Their one home game in the middle of all these road games, and it was a disappointing loss. I think a lot of coaches in their post-game press conference would have handled that turnover like this. Yeah, Robert's got to be better. We can't turn that puck over. But how did Monty handle it? They asked him about the turnover, and he said, listen, I don't mind that play. He's one of our best players. He's a high-end guy trying to make a high-end play. I want him to make those plays. We need to be better recovering around him. We got to have better support around him. We're all on the flat line. But aside from that, he liked the play. I mean, that to me is what makes Jim Montgomery so special in the sense with these younger players like Jordan Kyrou, Robert Thomas, and, of course, Dylan Holloway and Jake Neighbors is he's going to communicate to them and give them the freedom and the flexibility, of course, to explore the space, play hockey, make mistakes, and not be reprimanded every time it doesn't go well.
Joey, I think the turnovers have been some of the issues that they've had, and I liken it to a quarterback. You obviously have the arm talent, but you have to know time and place of when to try to make that throw. Is there a specific thing that the Blues need to do in terms of when not to try to make that explosive play and just do the right thing, whether it's chip the puck in or make the correct pass instead of trying to make the great play?
Yeah, it's tough, right? Carey, I know what you're saying. It's, this game is so fast and it's ever flowing. The one difference in football and hockey, as we know, is, football, there are stoppages every time there's knee hits the ground, elbow hits the ground, you have a chance to reset. The coordinators are talking to the quarterbacks, they're figuring out the next play. Everyone's on the same page. You line up and you hike it again. So you have a chance to get a 10, 15-second reset and reboot before you head out there again. Hockey is such an ever-flowing sport where the game, there's no real set plays. It's just flowing like liquid all over the place. And as a player, it's so fast where you have to constantly be making these on the spur of the moment decisions. And a lot of times you're going to make the wrong ones, and that's okay. I mean, that's why they call it the game of mistakes, because you're going to be making mistakes. But the teams that end up limiting and having the least amount of mistakes always are the team that, of course, has the best chance of winning at the end of the day. So how do you do that? It's just about giving your young guys more and more and more opportunities to develop what they call that hockey IQ, where when you have a puck in the position you have it, what type of play are you going to make with it? Are you going to try to make a play? Or do you realize that there is no play to be made and you got to chip it in? And as you get older, about a couple of years ago, the mature, high intelligent hockey players, they understand one thing. The puck is on my stick. I have an opportunity to make a play. Now, this play isn't just this play. This play is going to have a ripple effect on the next play, the next shift, the next period, and the next game, and maybe in that season. I mean, there is such a ripple effect on these decisions. So it's high-pressure environment. It's what they signed up for. But at the same time, it's never easy.
Joe, great stuff as always. We'll check back with you next week. We appreciate you, man.
Hey, sounds good, boys. You guys have a great week.
Thank you. You too.
You too.
That's Joe Vitale here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. He is not on the Canadian road trip. He will be on TV tonight, but you can listen to the game right here on 101 ESPN, starting with the pregame. Alex Ferrario and company at 6 o'clock, immediately following the Fast Lane. That's us. NFL Week 13 Pick'em. We'll let you know how we did and who faces the punishment next on 101 ESPN. One of the great things that I love about our guy Stewie, who joins us right now, Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation, is that he's got the bagel loan. And I know you recently helped out a 101 ESPN listener, Stewie, when they came to a recent refi, and it wasn't done right away. They actually called you back a couple months later, right?
Anthony, it's pretty interesting. People think that there's a waiting period that you need to wait in order to refinance and get a better rate. That's not true. We just closed an ESPN listener. He bought his house 5 months ago. He said, my lender told me I got to wait about a year before I can refinance. Not true. No closing costs. You can refinance a day after you purchase your house. There's no waiting period. You refinance, no closing costs. Save $263 a month on his payment.
Nice.
That's big bucks. That adds up to a lot over time, especially approaching Christmas. You got those presents you got to buy. It's a real help. Take advantage while you can.
And you do that by calling our guy, Stewie, at 314-324-4440. Again, 314-324-4440. You can call him or text him. And the reason why you can call or text is because he gives you his personal cell phone number. He has that old school customer service feel to him. Once you become a client, he'll constantly check the market and see where things are going ratings-wise and put you in a great spot to save you money over the long haul. But you do got to call or text him or visit his website, and you can do so by Googling the Bagel Loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good night, Anthony.
NMLS number 226715.
we've got your chance to win free tickets to Post Malone with Jelly Roll on May 13th at Busch Stadium. Get entered to win those free tickets for Post Malone and Jelly Roll right now, either at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app.
Get ready to pick 'em. It's the Fast Lane Football Pick'em Challenge on 101 ESPN.
Refreshed by Bud Light.
Well, you sure know how to pick 'em.
Well, we fell again to the Rizzuto Show. In the Fastlane Rizzuto Show NFL Pick'em Challenge, refreshed by Bud Light. Guys,
pick it up.
I'm not concerned, but at one point we were, 7-0?
Anthony, I'm concerned.
7-0, now it's 8-5?
Cul-de-sac is on the line right now.
What are we doing?
Cul-de-sac is on the line right now. I'm getting actually kind of nervous. Getting nervous right now.
You know what? I give those guys credit.
I just
those
got a
guys and those
haircut,
gals.
Anthony, a couple weeks ago.
I know.
I don't need another one.
You'll be fine. We got to pick up our game, though. I do give them a lot of credit. They had themselves a damn fine week. I think several of them had, 15 points? Pulling this up right now. Rafe had 15. King Scott, 15. Riz, 15. Moon had 14. Learn had 13.
We got our butts kicked.
We lost by 3?
We lost by 3. BK led the way with 15. I had 14. Marsh had 14. Carey Davis, 13. And the individual who will be punished eventually is Jamie Rivers. He lost the tiebreaker between himself and Carey. So, Carey, you're good with the old tiebreaker system now?
I'm glad I figured out how it works this time.
Good.
You know, that point system.
Yeah.
You got to figure that out.
I believe Jamie will be punished, 3 times?
Yeah.
Once he comes back?
Is it twice?
Might be twice.
I think it's twice.
Yeah. Either way, guys, we got to pick it up here.
Yeah. Yeah, I could have had 15, but, I had to...
You had to fade your team.
I had to. And
you almost got it.
Well,
now
they wouldn't have won if I would have.
You're not. You won't take the Falcons this weekend.
Oh, no, I will.
Yeah. I've got one regret this weekend, and I did it because Carey and I have our own personal battle.
Yeah, you went against my Steelers.
I knew that Carey was going to take his Steelers. I had the Steelers because Mike T as a dog. That should it's automatic. But I knew that Carey would take the Steelers. I'm trying to build up a little bit of a lead against Carey, who's been hot on my tail now for the last month or so in our own individual battle. I'm first. I've been first from week 1. But Carey's trying to ruin that.
Yeah. Seems like we all have our own little selfish games going on.
So what I did was I flipped from the Steelers to the Bengalis, and I lost that one. However, it didn't matter in the end because I also flipped from the Jets to the Seahawks and the Patriots to the Colts. So
I was going to.
You're the Jets?
Yeah.
Initially.
I was
then I realized, the hell am I doing?
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I was going to flip from the Falcons to the Chargers because I saw you had that. And then I was also going to flip to the Eagles because I saw you had the Ravens. And I was like, I gotta find a way.
That was the one I looked at too. I almost flipped to the Eagles.
I was like,
The Eagles saved me.
Yeah.
I would have been shot for the 20th time.
Wow. So it was that game.
It was that game. I was very invested in that game. And I was actually surprised that you did not take the Eagles.
I was going to. I looked at it and I'm like, I feel it. And I was like, but Baltimore is at home. But then when I watched the damn game, I couldn't tell that Baltimore was at home because it sounded like the Philadelphia Eagles were at home. Like, it was a lot of Eagles fans in that stadium.
They travel well.
That would never happen in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They didn't let those people in.
Baltimore looked good for the first quarter. I don't think the Eagles have done well in the first quarter all year. They're just that team that kind of
They figure it out. They figure out that we get the ball to Saquon Barkley, best player in the NFL.
Brandon asked from the Snake Pit, what does the winner get? I don't think we put anything on the line. It was just personal pride.
More so, what does the loser have to do?
Yeah, so the loser between shows, the final loser will have to do a choreographed video of a song that the winning team picks out. So hopefully it's still the Riz show. I'm not going to get overconfident here because we're on a bit of a skid. But if it is the Riz show, we get to pick out a song that they have to do a choreographed video for. We also are going to loop in a charity in of our choice and attach it to a dunk contest, or not a dunk contest, a dunk tank.
Yeah. I mean, we can do the dunk contest
we
too.
Could do
I don't
it
know
too,
if I'm going to be able to dunk, but
all our knees will be shot out. There's word that the NFC AFC Championship party at some point might be a collaborated effort, and the dunk tank could be at the location.
Oh, wow. Now we're talking.
And that's in January.
And that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Also, the cul-de-sac is on the line, too. Maybe I'll let Rafe shave my head if they come back and win. We need to get it together. I don't think we've done well since Mike Ryder stopped making our picks.
Oh, that's a good call.
Mike, is he still here? Did he take off? We got to get Mike back on board.
Yeah, we get Mike to, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Picks ain't been the same.
Nope, they certainly haven't. Otherwise, I mean, the picks, I think, Lions, Bears, okay, Cowboys, Giants. You actually were the Dolphins. I was surprised by that. What was that deal?
Because I've been saying that I felt like the Dolphins have or had the best opportunity from the outside looking in.
So you were putting your pick where your mouth is.
Yeah, I was believing that they had an opportunity. And at some point, man, you got to toughen up. And get past this, it's too cold to play football because I'm a Miami Dolphin thing you got going on here.
But they won't.
At some point, you got to find a dang on way to win a game when the temperature is below 20 degrees or below 30 degrees.
You would think so.
Like, you have to find a way. And I saw them come out. They didn't have sleeves on. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, here we go.
Mentally. Because it's a mindset. If you don't go out there with sleeves on, you got no excuses.
Yeah.
It's cold. So what?
Right.
And then they just laid an egg. So I don't know.
You were saying, after you saw them sleeveless, you were like, here we go. Yeah. Dolphins, Miami, gonna win at Lambeau Field. Here we go. And they got smoked.
They did. They decided that it was cold indeed.
We'll work on it.
That wasn't too bad for a first try.
Maybe if they wore sleeves, they'd play better.
Maybe
you got to look good, feel good, play good. If you had one of those mock turtlenecks on, those things are sick.
Did you ever see? Did you see our guy Mike McDaniel shivering as he was calling plays?
You don't wear sleeves. It's a mindset.
This could be a bad question. It probably is.
No bad question.
No such thing as a bad question.
Is he on the hot seat? Like low key? Low key.
Nah, he's fine.
Okay, I'm just saying. This is a trend.
I think Carey's.
They start to stink.
Well, I think Carey's right. It goes back to the Ohio State-Michigan conversation we have. You can't fake toughness.
Yeah.
You have to actually be tough.
But that's not their motto or culture or whatever you want to call it is speed, team speed.
I am speed.
So, yeah, to me, you really can't be. I mean, you can, but they're not both, right? There's teams that are tough, like the Steelers. You got tough teams, and you got teams that are fast, team speed. But typically the guys who run fast aren't the guys that are going to be tough in the trenches.
I'm good with that. Then you better get home field advantage.
I think Detroit has team speed and they're tough.
But to Marsha's point, do you feel good about Jared Goff having to go to Philly for an NFC title game? I think things got to be real comfortable for old Jared.
They play in domes the entire year, except for like 2 or 3 games.
I know we made a big deal when he threw, he had a good half against Green Bay in the elements, but we're talking about Philly. You've been there. NFC title game.
It was cold, buddy. It was cold, buddy.
NFC title game in Philly. No cold. Joke. Yeah. I think the Lions are a team that has to get home field advantage too. So
Case Keenum struggled.
Case Keenum struggled for your Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kirk Cousins struggled.
Oh, Kirky boy.
And Monday Night Football a couple years.
In week 2.
Week 2, it's tough. It's cold there, Anthony, in September.
It's not.
Are you sure?
Anyways, Miami, I think, is got to be one of those teams that's almost like a dome team. It used to be the dome teams, like they hadn't won a Super Bowl, hadn't been to a Super Bowl, blah, 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 blah. Then those dome teams started to get home field advantage. Like the New Orleans Saints got home field advantage, wound up going to the Super Bowl. They had incentive, one would say, to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, they also, were targeting Brett Favre the entire game.
Hence the incentive part of my comment. Either way.
Brett Favre may have thrown the worst interception given the time of, the game and
bad decisions.
All he had to do was not throw the football, and they were probably still in field goal range.
Yeah.
He decided to
beat Brett Favre.
Yeah. I wasn't a Vikings fan at that point. I was watching the lowly Rams still, but
You're a Sam Bradford fan.
I was a Sam Bradford fan. I still am. I appreciate all those checkdowns.
Yeah. That's why you're a fan of Kirk for a while. Let's check this thing down.
Absolutely.
What is it, 3rd and 7? Dude, I laughed. It was
he got bailed out. He got bailed out on 4th down.
On the penalty?
On the what was it, a hold?
Yes, and he threw it short again?
Yeah.
That mother Fastlane loves to throw short when it's long. We need 17. I'll give you a 4, maybe.
It'll be all right.
God, I hate it.
I never understand that. Carey, maybe you can elaborate more on this just because you played in the league. But why do guys, when you need a first down, they run about a yard short of the first down on their route and then turn around?
Well, so some routes are, that's the depth of the route, right? It doesn't matter. The call should probably be different if you know that this route is designed to go 12 yards and you need 15, right? You don't, because you'll throw the timing off. So you're hoping that if I do throw it short, that my receiver can catch, turn, and pick up 3 yards and get the first down. Otherwise, you're going, because there are some plays, there aren't routes that are for that depth. Like you don't have 18-yard routes, a bunch of them in your playbook. And those that are, it takes a long time to get to. So depending on the down and distance, depending on how far it is, you're hoping you can throw it a little bit short and he can catch and run. You know what I mean? So that's usually what it is. Now, if the route is supposed to be 10 yards and the first down is 10 yards and you run it short, then that's your problem. And then sometimes the quarterback will say, hey, give me an extra, down in distance, you can go one more yard to make it 11 and you're there at the first down. So
it's just one of the many questions I have, 3rd and 2, 4th and 2. We throw about a 50-yard pass when we need 2 yards. Sometimes I just don't understand that.
I'm okay with it on 3rd and 2 because I'm probably going for it on 4th and 2.
Yeah, they'll chuck it.
That's fair. But
they usually do that on 2nd down too, 2nd and 1.
That drives me crazy. 4th and 2, and you're just throwing it 50 yards. Let's get the first down first.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Let's get the first down.
Or fourth and short, you go sideways.
Yeah. Let's get the first down.
Or unless you have Tyreek Hill, you're not going. Don't go sideways.
4th and short, and we're in shotgun with no one in the backfield.
Good luck with that.
Well, that's why people lose their jobs.
Seriously.
Or you have 31 seconds left on the clock, and you don't call a timeout.
You lose your job. You're looking for a job.
Well, nobody would do that. I mean, you call the timeout.
Well, no, that happened last week. Last Thursday.
No,
the guy actually got fired the next day.
I don't believe you guys. You guys are making things up. You're trying to fool me. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We'll get the biggest question of the day next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. We are under 30 minutes away until Blues pregame as they take on the Winnipeg Jets tonight. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. If you missed our interview today with Joe Vitale or anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Schaefer Door Company 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have our biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
All right, you heard the big voice. Time for the biggest question of the day here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter, and here is Andrew Marsh.
College football playoff rankings this week will be revealed tonight. Lots of questions. Who will be in the top 12? My question for you guys is, maybe not so much this week, but the final college football playoff ranking. Mm-hmm. Which program is it more important for to be in the college football playoff? Like Alabama, if they don't get in, how detrimental is that to them? If Georgia doesn't get in, how detrimental is that to their program? If Boise State holds on in the Mountain West and they get in, does that do something for their program? So when we take a look, we look at everything as a whole, like which program is this most important for?
Just getting in?
Just getting in.
For me, it's Indiana.
Yeah, you're not going to get many chances if you're Indiana. You wouldn't think.
No, you had one of those seasons that come about every blue
so
moon.
Often,
and so you've had, and right now I don't know how they would not be in. They only have one loss. They're not going to play again. They're not in the Big Ten championship game, which I'm still trying to figure out how the heck that happened. But either way, got to be like opponents in the scores or something like that.
But probably some fifth tiebreaker.
Yeah, but either way, for me, it's Indiana because they have done such a great job this year, and maybe SMU as well, because they have worked their way to have an opportunity to play in the ACC championship game. If they were to lose to Clemson, a team that's won national championships here in the last decade or so, that might be, I don't know if it's detrimental, but it would be heartbreaking for that program to not be in the college football playoff, seeing as how great of a season they've had.
What about Miami? You're going to lose Cam Ward.
Yeah.
You probably paid a lot to get him to Miami.
I think you ruined that, though. I think Miami's kind of come to, at least they should. I can't speak for them. I would assume they've come to grips with, we lost to Syracuse, fellas. You had a chance.
Yeah.
We win, we're in, because we're in the ACC championship game, and win, lose, or draw, you're probably still in the college football playoff. But yeah, Miami is another one.
Yeah, I think you're right along the lines with Indiana, Arizona State.
Yeah,
Arizona State to be in the first playoff.
Iowa State,
even.
Teams that
shout out to Rocco Beck, Anthony Beck's son.
Yeah, Iowa State was playing so well. They were undefeated till they lost to Texas Tech. Mm-hmm. And then they lost the following week to a Kansas team that was below 500.
Who got smoked, by the way. Did you see Kansas?
Did they get smoked?
They got crushed.
Who did they lose to?
I don't even think it was that great of an opponent. Let me see there. Hold on. Keep holding. Kansas football.
Oh, please.
Baylor, 45-17.
Yeah.
Ham-sauced.
After beating 3 ranked teams in a row.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. From a coaching standpoint, let's go beyond just making the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Or we could start off with just making the playoffs. What about Clemson and Dabo Swinney? I don't think Dabo's going to go anywhere. I think he's got too much pedigree. But there has been way more controversy is probably too strong of a word, but there's been way too much negative press surrounding Dabo. and his transfer portal and all that.
He's made
you better win this ACC title against SMU.
Yeah, he's made a conscious decision that he's not going to live in the portal. He's going to go the old-fashioned way.
He dipped in a little bit, but
he's not going to live in the portal like some of these other programs have. He's going to go through the high school development route, and hopefully those young men are still on his roster and they're part of what they do. And you don't lose a lot of those guys to other schools.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know that he needs to, because he's won national championships in the past. I don't know if he's one of those guys that has to have a playoff, a playoff berth to say that he deserves to stay in his role. I just think some of these programs, because you're not going to get another season like this.
Sure.
More than likely, like Indiana.
Oh no, I'm with you. I'm just
Boise
expanding.
State. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here's the other question. Ohio State needs to win the national championship for Ryan Day to keep his job, right?
Yep.
Like that's a thing.
So. I agree.
Yeah.
I think, and it's hard for me to say because I've been a defender of Ryan Day. Like I'm like he's. What are we talking about? He's lost to Michigan. He's lost to top-ranked teams in the country.
You lost 50K.
He's got like 8 or 9 games.
For that Oregon-Ohio State game. You lost 50K. I haven't seen it yet. Remember? That was on the line. I had Oregon. You had Ohio State because you were defending Ryan Day.
I don't remember we bet that much.
We'll get there.
Okay. But, yeah, I think losing that. And I watched that game last night. I was watching it, and I was just rewatching it. And I'm like, they stink. Michigan stinks because they're so one-dimensional.
They fired their OC today.
They stink. And the Ohio State Buckeyes, to lose that game, it's inexcusable. Like, at home, I watched a drive in the third quarter where Caleb Downs gets an interception on, like, the 12-yard line. Going in Michigan territory. So they're right there.
They're there, yeah.
They ran 3 plays. They ran a run, which got nothing. They passed a rollout pass to the tight end, which was covered, incompletion. And then they ran a draw on 3rd and 10. And then on 4th down, they missed the field goal. Like a 27-yard field goal, 30-yard field goal. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? This is terrible. You got too much talent to let that be your 3 plays. You rolled out and threw threw back to the tight end, and the linebacker standing there like, I don't know why you throwing this here.
I got him.
This is dumb. You'll be lucky I don't pick it off.
Yeah.
Those were the 3 plays you ran in plus territory after a huge interception.
Right.
In a game where you're struggling, that was terrible.
Plus, if I'm Ohio State, if I'm looking at this, Ryan Day gave up the play calling duties to Chip Kelly.
That's the part that's driving me
Why
crazy.
do I need you then? Like, if I'm the Dolphins owner, if I'm the Dolphins owner,
right,
and Mike McDaniel says, I'm going to give up the play calling duties.
Why do I need
you for?
Yeah,
because you're not a strong enough. Ryan Day clearly is not a strong enough leader to be just the head coach. So you give up the one kind of calling card you had to bring back Chip Kelly. You wanted toughness. You're going to run the ball.
You think Chip Kelly equates
That's the other
to toughness?
problem. That's
when
the other problem.
When you think tough football,
like you just running
is that
the ball
the first name that comes to mind?
No.
Chip Kelly, I think of guys all over the place.
Right.
I don't think of, I'm going to put my hand in the dirt and I'm going to hit you in the mouth and I'm going to go forward and you're going to not want me to, but you ain't got no choice because I'm going to go this way and this is how it's going to be today.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We'll see where the college football rankings shake out. We'll probably have that discussion tomorrow as well here on 101 ESPN. We've got Bet the Board. We've got 3 stars of the day, and we've got criticisms and compliments next. It's always nice to sit down with my wife, Kristen, and say, okay, what do we have coming up on the schedule? What do we need to do? What are some events that we can partake in to get the kids involved in things? And the Missouri Athletic Club, they always have stuff going on for the family, whether it's certain brunches, Mother's Day brunch, Father's Day brunch. Maybe it's, something with trunk or treat that we went to. Whatever it is, they've always got an event for the family that they offer at the West Clubhouse. And that's one I usually frequent when it comes to working out or, grabbing something to eat on my way to work. Downtown spot, bigger events, always do it right. They always have something going on. Cardinals games during the summertime, well, is always good too. That's my MAC, Missouri Athletic Club. if you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or your Schaefer Door Company 101 ESPN mobile app. Podcast all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. All right, as he did last month, Marsh out to a pretty big lead.
Yeah, one.
He's got one, and it feels like it's inevitable that Marsh has already won Bet the Board for the month of December. But you know what, Carey? Let's keep trying.
We got to keep working, man.
Yep.
It's hard.
Jamie sent in his pick. He took the San Jose Sharks plus 235 tonight on the money line. He sees an upset of the Washington Capitals.
Could happen.
Yep.
Could happen.
Marsh, what's your play? Because I figured you wouldn't go there. That's why I read off his.
Yeah. No, that was not going in that direction. I'm going to go in the direction of Jordan Kyrou having over 2.5 shots on goal at minus 150.
Okay. Carey?
I'm going the Warriors plus 5 at Denver tonight.
Warriors plus 5 at Denver.
Got to get back to my roots.
Okay. I like it. Give me Edmonton, Vegas over 6.5 goals tonight at minus 105. Edmonton, Vegas over 6.5 goals, minus 105. All right, that's Bet the Board. What do we got for criticisms and compliments, Marsh?
All right, we have a text from Swan. We haven't heard from Swan in quite some time. It says, great show today, guys. Been gone a while due to school and the playoff run I was a part of. Have a great day, guys.
Well, I don't know what playoff run you're talking about, Swan, but we missed you, man.
Yes.
Nice job. Hopefully the playoffs went well, whatever said playoffs were. I think he's a big college basketball guy. But they wouldn't be the playoffs.
Well, he's a huge Loyola college basketball fan, but I do believe that he works with football as a coach. Could be wrong on that one, Anthony.
Yeah, either way.
Playoffs.
Swan, love having you back, man. Thank you.
All right, so earlier today we were talking about listeners that text in like personal things, thinking that it's not us and it's somebody else.
Yeah.
We get a text from the Water Boy. I always text my wife accidentally instead of you guys. She is like, who, the fast lane or the gridiron guys?
Water Boy's got
Thanks,
our
Water
number.
Boy.
I don't think you'll ever hear the end of that one.
No, I don't blame him.
From the 314. I remember like damn near 10 years ago, I texted into the show for the first time. The message was read, and everybody was having fun joking about it. So I texted my girlfriend with excitement and said, they read my message, and they are still talking about it. LOL. Only thing was, I sent that into the show instead of my girlfriend. I felt pretty stupid at the time. LOL, don't give 2 blanks now.
Yeah.
And that's our new motto, right?
Yeah, man. Hey.
I don't care.
The one thing you're going to get with this show is we make fun of ourselves and
others.
It seems like, you know what? You have fun with us, too. You guys get the show. MD 2020, criticism. The Gauntlet, compliment the acknowledgement. Yeah, MD 2020, not happy about the way the Gauntlet played out.
I wonder why.
He now knows we can all learn from our mistakes.
We didn't have all the categories, Mark.
Yeah, we didn't have all the categories.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I lost, right?
That is.
Yep.
Well, I think you lost because Nathan might not be a great guy.
No, yeah, we've established that.
He might be a sound person, but
Let me channel my inner Aaron Rodgers and just blame everything but myself.
I like what you did there.
I love what you did there. Yeah.
You're not wrong.
I love yesterday when Carey's like, he started to take some accountability. And I'm like, hey, you're also playing the wind. Never mind.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question from the 618. You think Prime goes to Ohio State if they don't win?
Ooh.
They fire Ryan Day, bring in Prime? Coach Prime.
That would be intriguing. I don't know.
Think so.
I don't think so either. But I mean, the crazy part, you can transfer portal any guy you want to come at this point. Right away.
One thing's for sure, he's got no allegiance to Colorado. Like they gave him a shot, sure, but so did where was he before? Jackson State?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. That'd be intriguing.
I would like to see him stay at Colorado.
I would too. And build them up to be a powerhouse. I think
Like, do that first, and then we can start talking. Not that other coaches have done that elsewhere. Instead, they've gotten opportunities, so it's not like he has to. I would like to see him stick around.
All right, let's get to our 3 stars of the day. Our 3rd star of the day goes out to Tanisha from the Snake Pit. It is her birthday.
Happy birthday, Tanisha.
Tanisha. 2nd star of the day, of course, goes out to text on the Air Comfort Service text line that are personal things that end up in our text line.
Well, yeah, we're family.
Yes,
absolutely. That's a great.
We're family.
That's a great point.
That's why it gets confused. You think you're texting your loved one. You love us. We love you.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Great call.
Yep.
1st star of the day goes out to Anthony Statler.
Yes. Stalter.
Statler.
Yeah. Statler. Stalter. All right.
Man with the stats.
There you have it. Hey, we got Blues Jets pregame for you in 5 minutes. Our guy Alex Ferrario will be doing his thing in the pregame. Grant Francis will also be there as well, spinning those dials, doing his thing. So we got Blues Jets pregame starting at 6 o'clock. And, of course, we've got Blues and Jets puck drop about 7:05 from Winterpeg.
Zachary Bolduc getting a hat trick tonight.
Okay, there you go. On tomorrow's show, we'll break down the Blues win over the Winnipeg Jets, tell you how they did it, and whether or not they'll do it to the Flames, probably, in a couple of nights.
Yep.
We'll also break down the college football rankings and, of course, have a little NFL for you, too. For Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, and Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. See you.